In Ann Arbor, Michigan, Pro-Am Sports presents the 45th meeting between the unbeaten Badgers of Wisconsin and the undefeated 5th-ranked Michigan Wolverines. Today's Big Ten Conference opener from Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor is brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealers. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by the Detroit Free Press, Michigan's morning newspaper. Hi, everybody. I'm Ray Lane, along with Dennis Franklin, and welcome to Michigan Stadium here in Ann Arbor. And I guess, Denny Franklin, when you talk about perfect records, it belongs right now to Michigan and Wisconsin.
That's right, Ray. Both teams have an undefeated slate coming in here, and a lot of people try to compare the two and say that Wisconsin hasn't played the same kind of competition that Michigan. Well, I don't really believe that makes a difference when you come into conference play, and I know both teams are excited about getting the Big Ten underway, and Michigan is hoping to started off with a win.
Well, why not? And, you know, we're talking about the offensive unit of Wisconsin, probably the strongest suit that they had going in 1985, spearheaded by a fellow by the name of Larry Emery, and Michigan fans remember him quite well.
No question about it. He had 185 yards against the Wolverines last year, and against a not too bad defensive team. And this year he's going to go against one of the top defensive teams in the country, so I know he's going to have his work cut out for him.
Badgers come in here with a top rushing team in the Big Ten so far. Let's go to defense. Now, that was rebuilt this year. The entire secondary rebuilt, but their linebackers, that's a strong suit.
Very good linebacking core. Craig Raditz, the junior, number 53, is the strong point. He's their leading tackler, and I expect him to be all over the field.
As Dennis said, maybe you can't compare the schedules. Both teams undefeated. And I guess for Michigan, you can say it's been a matter of consistency, especially on the offense. When you talk about the running game, I think you think about Jamie Morris.
Well, you know, Jim Harbaugh gets a lot of the credit on offense, and rightfully so. But Jamie Morris is really the key and really makes the offense go. He's the third all-purpose rusher, all-purpose back in the Big Ten, and I expect them to get the ball to him today as well.
When he talks about that all-purpose, you're talking about rushing, you're talking about pass receiving, you're talking about kickoff returns or punt returns. So he has done it all for Michigan up to this point. Now, the defense, they haven't been scored upon yet in 1985. Sometime it's going to have to give in.
It's going to happen sooner or later, but I know they think that they rather it happen later than sooner. But Garland Rivers, the outstanding cornerback from Canton, Ohio, was the defensive champion last week, and I expect him to be all over the field with Brad Cochran, the preseason All-American, today too.
You know, you talk about the offense and the defense of Michigan, but what we have, Dennis, I think, is a little rebuilding job for this opener against Wisconsin in the Michigan offensive line.
Well, they lost a couple of linemen. Mike Hammerstein is lost for the season, and John Huzar, they're not sure whether or not he's going to be able to play. So Bob Tapachenko, who was the center last week, is expected to start at guard today, and we'll see who else is filling in when we get underway.
So it's almost like a little bit of a puzzle. Where do the pieces fit in? We'll find out for the opening kickoff just around the corner. Don't go away. Back at Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Ray Lane along with Dennis Franklin. We're very glad you could join us along pass this afternoon for the opener of the Big Ten between the Wolverines of Michigan and the Badgers of Wisconsin. A damp, cool, windy afternoon here in Ann Arbor, as it is throughout most of southeastern Michigan. Temperature right around the 50-degree mark. It's supposed to hover for the next couple of hours right around there. We had some early morning showers, some of those heavy showers, but the field in pretty good shape, Dennis.
That's right, Ray. The field was covered last night and today, this morning, most of the morning. So, you know, I was down on the field earlier, and I don't believe it's that wet until you get out of bounds. The sidelines are very wet, obviously, but the field is in pretty good condition.
I noticed a couple of fellows from Wisconsin that had the Wisconsin colors on, dyed red. And I tell you, with no shirts, I guess up in Wisconsin, well, they're used to cold weather. They're ready for this one. And hopefully the Badgers and the Wolverines will be ready. The Badgers ready to make their entrance onto the field. Here they come with the head coach Dave McLean in his 8th year at the helm. And he's had a couple of strong seasons, taking his Badgers to bowl games. Last year, they were 5-3-1 in the Big Ten. Finished up the year at 7-4-1, and then went on to the Hall of Fame Bowl and lost to Kentucky 20-19. This year, 3 straight wins, as we mentioned earlier in our telecast, over Northern Illinois, Nevada, Las Vegas, and Wyoming. And a very impressive win over Wyoming last week, 41-17 out around the Laramie country. And temperatures around 26 degrees, and they said the wind chill factor in that game was about 5 degrees below zero. The Wolverines waiting to come out of the field as the M Club banner is ready to greet them once again here in this 4th encounter of the 1985 season. And here come the 1985 Wolverines to open up the Big Ten season. Well, certainly the victory that the Wolverines are looking for this afternoon surmounts anything else, I guess you could say, about the Wolverine team as far as what they look for in this home opener in the Big Ten. But one of the little facts that maybe has gone unnoticed this afternoon, should the Wolverines win this one, a fellow by the name of Glenn Bo Schembechler would record his 150th win right here. And it would be another milestone for the man who is now in his 17th year at the helm of the Wolverines. Story on our weather conditions right here. And again, when you look at this as a former quarterback, Dennis Franklin, those kind of weather conditions normal, or does it come into play someplace along the line?
Well, the only one that troubled me is that rainy and cloudy. You know, if it doesn't rain during the football game, I don't care what it's done before. It's not that difficult to get your footing on this artificial surface. Like we said before, the tarp was on the field, so it's not wet. I expect the footing to be good. The thing that used to trouble me, Ray, when I played was the rain during the ball game, because I was the one responsible for handing the ball off all the time, and the center quarterback exchange sometimes wasn't crisp, and you'd find yourself fumbling, and you know things weren't going very well if you were fumbling and playing for Michigan.
Exactly right. You heard about it in a hurry.
Yes.
Now, a Big Ten opener, 3 preseason games, or let's not call them preseason, non-conference games, and you come into the opener. Is there an emotional feeling there, a little more of an uplift, or is it just another game? As we take a look at Dave McLean.
Absolutely, because you know, those 3 non-conference games really don't mean anything in the Michigan system. Bo is only concerned about winning the Big Ten championship and going to the Rose Bowl. Oh, sure, he would like to win those non-conference games, and they're important, but they're not as important overall as playing and winning in the Big Ten. And he'll tell you that anytime.
Michigan to receive the opening kickoff. The young man that will hand the kickoff duties, Todd Gregory. But as we take a look at the Wolverines down there, you'll take a look at the freshman John Colzar at the bottom part of your screen, number 40, and Jamie Morris, number 23. Todd Gregory, one of the best kickers, not only in the Big Ten, but around the country. And he'll also handle their field goal and extra point attempts this afternoon. So the Big Ten opener at Michigan is underway as we get that opening whistle and the kickoff from Todd Gregory. And we're glad you could join us for this one. Still waiting for one of the officials to indicate we're ready to go. And we are now. Still waiting for the back judge. Now, here we go. Gregory's kick will be taken right around the 7-yard line by Morris. And Jamie's hit around the 22-yard line and drags it up to around the 24-yard line. Well, Michigan will have it at the 25 as Wings, a linebacker, comes through and makes the tackle for the University of Wisconsin. We'll watch to see what Michigan does when they go on offense here. As you take a look at the backfield of receivers, White, Morris, Campbell, Jokic. And what a Saturday Caddis had last week, his best in his collegiate, he said even maybe in his high school career. At the 25-yard line, 1st and 10, our game just underway. Morris on the handoff. Tracks a would-be tackler at the 25 at the line of scrimmage. It drags it up to around the 29-yard line. It's interesting to watch these linebackers, as we talked about with Dennis Franklin before, of just how active they are. And Rick Graff, number 99, the outside linebacker, making the tackle. The story up front, and sort of a quickly rebuilt offensive line for Michigan, with Vitale getting the start at that quick guard position. Tabachino staying at center. There was a question of whether he would move over to guard this afternoon, but stays at center. And Vitale at the quick guard, replacing the injured Mark Hammerstein. 2nd and 6. Up to around the 33-yard line. White, the fullback, carrying, and Charlie Fawley making the stop inside. So they've stayed inside, Dennis, on the first couple.
I guess Michigan is choosing right now to get their running game in gear, keeping the ball on the ground, Ray. Figuring that if it rains, later on this afternoon, that's what they're going to have to rely on, so they might as well get it going right now.
You saw the Badgers with that 3-4 defense they will use against Michigan, and how they stack up here now on a 3rd and 2. White still in there at fullback. The pitch now going to Morris, trying to get outside, and does. Breaks a tackle by the sideline. Thought maybe that he was out of bounds, and got 5 more yards out of that second effort. So he got the first down with plenty of to spare, and then it was Troy Spencer making the hit.
Watch the tight end, number 81, Eric Caddis, last week had the big game catching, but I want to tell you, he made an outstanding block, which allowed Jamie Morris to get around the corner.
Well, they had the double tight end employed that time. Brown did a good job of blocking that time. He comes out of the game. The defensive backs for the Badgers, keep an eye on Odoms. He's a very busy man. Another good defensive back in there is Johnston. But it's all rebuilt from a year ago. If there is a weak spot, this might be it, that defensive backfield of the Badgers. Jamie Morris up the middle this time, close to the 44-yard line. Charlie Fawley, the middle linebacker, the interior man, making the hit. Young man out of Oshkosh. And this is a young man we talked about in our opener. On the opening part of the program, Jamie Morris, the most consistent back thus far for the Wolverines.
A lot of potential, Ray. He can do a lot of things with the football. You throw it to him. He's a good pass receiver as well as runner. We talked about he was the 3rd leading all-purpose back coming in the Big Ten. And, he runs the 100 meters in 10.5, so he can move.
2nd down and 7. Pitch to Morris on his 4th carry this afternoon. Has enough for the first down. Gee, he is breaking a couple of tackles again along that sideline, and finally driven out of bounds by Troy Spencer.
Very nice block by number 72, John Elliott. I hope we get a chance to see it here. Jamie will cut right there. There's the block, and Jamie cuts outside, big hole, runs hard, puts his head down, and he knows where he's going with the football.
Jamie has carried 4 times now for a total of 24 yards, and there you see number 23, the story on him a year ago when he led the rushing department, the first freshman since 1945, when Raleigh Tenaga was the last Michigan player to do that as a freshman. Kolsar in motion. Little delay this time. Morris again looking for that big hole. He got just a little one at the line of scrimmage. Might have got a yard out of it. And then that hole certainly closed up in a hurry. Look at Boykin in there as a nose guard. And Fawley, the interior linebacker, in on his 3rd tackle already.
You know, Ray, this is the way we used to play Michigan football. When I played here, it was steadily on the ground. Let's just beat them up front. Confrontation, one man against the other, and let's have a physical football game. And I don't see any indication that Bo is even thinking about throwing the football yet.
Gone outside just on 2 occasions thus far. 2nd down and 9.
So he throws.
And that time trying to pick up the yardage. Might have got about 5 out of it. Just moving that one out to the 39-yard line, and Morris on the receiving end that time. Hit pretty hard, and around the hip and back area, seems to be slow moving back to the huddle.
Jamie just running a down and out from out of the backfield. Jim Harbaugh throwing the ball a little short. I think he hurt himself like lunging back to catch the pass.
You saw number 55 on your replay there. That's Russ Fields, another linebacker coming in there and making a pretty strong hit. Fields out of the Chicago area. So it's 3rd and 5. at the Wisconsin 41-yard line. Going deep. Jokic down there. It's intercepted, but a flag has gone down. Loose ball, but the flag is down there. Johnston coming, or rather Sidnor coming through to take the ball on the interception. But down there was Troy Spencer, and you watch 17 and watch Sidnor and watch the flag. They're all over him, and it's going to be Sidnor.
Yeah, Sidnor was definitely interfering. They call that face guarding when you put your hands up and have no intentions of trying to make the interception. But Jim Harbaugh made the mistake here, I thought, throwing into double coverage. Paul Jokic was covered by two people, which means that there was someone else open, and I thought it was Eric Caddis in the flat. But it doesn't matter because they're going to bring it back, and it's going to be a first down for Michigan.
So the pass interference, and they mark it off from the line of scrimmage, and they mark it down to the 26-yard line. First down for Michigan, the third on this drive since taking the opening kickoff. And while we're talking about third down conversions, they came into this ball game averaging just about 52% on those third down conversions so far this season. That's a very, very good mark. Pro set this time, and Morris, as they gave him the first look at that formation on the carry, and brought down to the turf by Frawley again, the linebacker moving outside that time for the hit.
Just a power off-tackle play. Jamie doing a good job. You see Vitale was pulling that time, number 67. Good power football.
Freshman Chad Van Zandy comes into the interior line at the nose guard position, replaces Boykins in there for Wisconsin. Michigan has run 8 plays, and Morris has been on 6 of those on carries, let alone the pass. And there goes Jamie again, trying to get outside. Good pursuit by the outside linebacker that time. And making the tackle, Rick Graham. Bo Schembechler was talking about the outside linebackers earlier this week on Wisconsin, of what great speed they have.
They both have excellent speed, Ray, and they call themselves Thunder and Lightning. Rick Graff here, number 99, making a good tackle is Thunder, and Tim Jordan is Lightning. And they both have excellent speed, good size. Graff's about 6'5", 227, and Jordan 6'3", 220. So we'll see them on a lot of plays, a lot of tackles.
Third down and 4 at the Wisconsin 20. Wolverines have had it since the opening kickoff. We got movement on the left side that time by Talley, the young man who's making the start today, moving the right leg and right foot as he came out of his set stance.
A little anxious. That will happen particularly when you want to be very impressive. He's filling in for the injured Mike Hammerstein, and you want to come out and play well.
Vitale, the young man out of De La Salle in the Detroit area, just a sophomore, and really gave Huszar a pretty good battle when they came into camp this year to see who would get that starting guard job on the right side, the strong guard position. 3rd and 10. Pressure on Harbaugh. Let's lose. Jokic to the 15, to the 14. Spencer makes the tackle for Wisconsin, and the Wolverines have a first down.
Very nice by Jim Harbaugh, Ray. The real key to this play is Jim Harbaugh staying in the pocket, showing a lot of patience, waiting for his receiver to come open across the field. And then he lays the ball in there very nicely, and Troy Spencer makes the tackle. But the real key to that play was Harbaugh not giving up on his receiver, Jokic.
Wisconsin has been tough against the rushes of the opposition this year. They've given up an average of 170 yards in the passing department to the opposition this year. And so the Wolverines capitalize on that last passing play. 1st and 10. Run the option. Look out. Oh, nasty the way Harbaugh came down in there, trying to get the option going and couldn't do it, and brought down. And a good play by Lance Branham on the tackle on the outside. He just broke through there and beat the block.
I thought he should have pitched it out. He had a trailer, Jamie Morris, following down the line of scrimmage. And for some reason, Jim just wanted to keep the ball.
Lost a yard on the carry, 2nd and 8. Eric Campbell has returned to action. He is split wide to the left out of your picture for the Wolverines. The flanker replaces Jokic in the lineup. Michigan with two tight ends in there. Over the middle, Caddis, touchdown! All of a sudden, the big tight end breaks out on a one-on-one, and Caddis beat his man in the end zone. A little lob pass from Howball, covering 11 yards, and Michigan has struck for the first touchdown of the afternoon.
Very nice throw by Jim Harbaugh. Watch him loft the ball right over Craig Raditz, number 53, right there, who had man-to-man coverage on Eric Caddis, and he does a good job of holding on, Ray, for the touchdown.
Well, Caddis liked the feeling a week ago when he got two touchdowns. Now he's got his third in 2 weeks. That drive, 7 minutes and 1 second to get it. And Gillette gets his extra point. As far as Mike is concerned, he is now 9 for 9 in the extra point department. It was 7:53 to go in the opening quarter. Michigan marching down the field and going out in front of the University of Wisconsin 7-0.
Take a look here as Jim Harbaugh, this is the way he sees it. He can see that his tight end, Eric Caddis, beat number 53, Craig Raditz, and all he had to do was loft the ball over his head, did a nice job throwing the ball in there, and Eric Caddis caught it for the touchdown.
You know, when Caddis came out of there, strictly linebacker has to take him, but he had those big strides, and there's no way that the linebacker could recover on that quick play.
No way.
So Bo Schembechler and staff a little bit on the happy side with plenty of time, of course, still to go in this game, and anything can develop. Michigan, by the way, 5 first downs in that drive, and something we didn't talk about, Dennis Franklin, in our opening remarks. Wisconsin this season in 3 games have really turned out to be a big play type of unit. They've got some long passes, long runs for touchdowns.
And that's the one thing that Gary Moeller, the defensive coordinator for Michigan, was talking about in terms of his defense being as successful as it is. They do not allow big plays. They don't like them, and they don't want them to happen against them. And it's going to be interesting to see whether or not Wisconsin's going to be able to complete the long passes and the big runs against Michigan's defense.
Which means, of course, that Michigan defense is going to, I guess, put a lot of pressure on that quarterback, so they cut down on the passing. And really, the line really have to play a strong game against the run.
Very strong.
Ready to kick off for the University of Michigan now is Rick Sutkowitz, Fullington, and Bobo. Fullington moving up, number 20, takes it at his 10-yard line. Got great speed and gets it up to the 27-yard line. Fullington, by the way, is one of those players with great speed and sort of a big type of play threat. He can break it open, wide open. Cowan coming in there to make the tackle for Michigan.
There you see the kickoff coming down to Tim Fullington, number 20. Ray's already told you he's got great speed. And we talked about Jamie Morris, who is the third all-purpose runner in the Big Ten. This young man, number 20, Tim Fullerton, is the number 1 all-purpose rusher or all-purpose runner in the Big Ten. Well, so he's impressive.
He certainly is. Fullington, of course, on a kickoff return, the first game of the year, went for a 95-yard touchdown gallop. That was against Northern Illinois. And Howard in there at quarterback to try to form the screen on the right side. They do, and they get about 7 yards on that little screen pass, and we'll talk a little bit more about Howard in just a moment. That first pass going out to Sharon, and Mark Messner in there to make the tackle.
Excellent scoring drive, as you see there. 12 plays, 75 yards, time 7 minutes, 1 second. That's the kind Bo Schembechler likes. Long play drives. 10 or 12 play drive.
One back offense now, the slot to the left for Wisconsin. Emery with his first carry. And breaking in there, Mallory got a hand on him and brought him down, had some other help. But the interior linebacker making the first hit, and then Dieter Herron coming in to finish him off. Boy, they will remember Emery of a year ago. Now they will remember Emery of 185 yards. But here's the story on the offensive threat by the Badgers up in front of those gentlemen, the offensive line. Watch for some blocking from number 66, Lancey. He's regarded as their best offensive blocker. Fullington now coming over the left side, number 20. So they slot on the left side again with that pro set. And Howard over the middle hits Scott Sharon, the tight end. And Sharon has a first down to the 42-yard line of Michigan. Tony Gant, number 14, making the stop for the Wolverines. Going back to that Mike Howard, he was a fellow that was a quarterback a year ago for Wisconsin. The first game of the year in the second quarter, got banged up, has missed the last 2 weeks. And now Howard, who is a junior out of Springfield, Illinois, getting the start this afternoon. He's 2 for 2 in the passing department.
Very effective. The pro-type quarterback, Ray, 6'4", 216 pounds, very big, strong arm, can really throw the ball.
You saw the Michigan linebackers there. Nice to see Mallory back in there as a start after being banged up for a couple of weeks. Pass is completed this time to Fred Bobo at the Michigan 45-yard line. Tony Gant in there to make the hit on him. Had some help from Garland Rivers, but Bobo at 185 pounds, making the third reception of the Wolverines.
Excuse me, Ray.
Badgers.
Mike Howard that time really took a chance. He really threw into coverage. You'll see all the people around there. Number 17, Ivan Hicks. Number 42, Mike Mallory. And 30, Cochran coming in there late. But I thought he took a chance throwing the ball into the zone defense that particular time. But it was successful.
A forward defensive wall for Michigan with Messner, Harris, and Hammerstein. Howard wants to go to the air for the 4th time. He completes it to one of his backs that time, Joe Armington. And Armstrong brings it down deeper into Michigan territory right around the 29-yard line before he's brought down by Brad Cochran, making the 29.
Very nice job this time by Mike Howard. He's got a lot of pressure on him. You'll see it right here. And he waits till the very last minute before he throws it to Joe Armentrout, number 23 there, who breaks a tackle and does a nice job of covering up the football and picking up good yardage.
So the first down makes it the 3rd first down for Wisconsin at the Michigan 29-yard line. Trips on the right side for Wisconsin, and those defensive backs of Michigan will have to cover. That time they cross up, at least attempt to cross up the Michigan defense, thinking it might be a passing play. Instead, they try to run it, and instead Hammerstein and Messner in there to make the stop.
Well, what Wisconsin really is trying to do there, Ray, is put those receivers out there hoping to draw one of the inside linebackers from Michigan's defense out as well, and to try to trap inside on the interior line. But so far, Michigan has not respected the trips formation, and I would suspect that Wisconsin may come back and start throwing the ball since they're not getting any linebacker coverage out there on that particular formation.
You saw the stat on Howard. That was coming into this ball game, and this afternoon he is 4 for 4. This time Wisconsin trying the running play. Emery trying to get outside to his right and picks up a couple of yards. Jeff Akers brings him down, number 33 for Michigan. So Wisconsin now faced with a 3rd and 7 at the Michigan 26-yard line. If you just tuned us in, Michigan struck for a march covering a little better than 7 minutes to take a 7-0 lead over Wisconsin. And that was capped off on an 11-yard scoring strike to the tight end, Eric Caddis from Harbaugh. Now Wisconsin's Howard calling for timeout. Looked over the Michigan defense. Sort of had his receivers spread out on the left side, looked over the Michigan defense, says, no, we'll try something else.
Well, actually, his offensive line got screwed up. It looked like the center didn't get over the ball. The guard lined up over the ball, and then the strong side of the formation wasn't on the right side, so Mike Howard did the right thing, called timeout to get his troops together.
Again, now, would this be a reflection of Howard maybe not working with the first unit? Maybe he did the last couple of days, and Keys has been in there for a couple of weeks at quarterback, do you think?
Well, it really looked like the mistake was made in the offensive line. It really wasn't Mike's fault. I mean, he apparently called the formation the way he wanted it, and for whatever reason, the linemen didn't line up accordingly. So he did the right thing in calling timeout, because this is a very big play for Wisconsin. It's 3rd down and 7, and they've made some penetration on the Michigan defense, and I'm sure that they would like to get a touchdown here rather than settle for 3 points.
Well, I don't think it was Lancey, the right guard, but Bill Schick, as you mentioned, tried to come over and stand over the ball and said, wait a minute, I'm going to have to slide over here, and told Brian, maybe Jansen, hey, you're in the wrong
spot.
Howard, so far in the passing department, has gone to the air 4 times and connected on 4 of those passes for a total of 41 yards.
They really like to go to their tight end, Ray, in a situation like this. So let's look for Scott Sharon, number 89.
3rd and 7. Howard's going to go to the air, gets it away, And I think you called it perfectly. Dennis Franklin, the tight end, and he's driven out of bounds at the 20-yard line by Brad Cochran. Wisconsin may be shy by a yard.
A really tough call. He's going to the tight end on an out pattern, and Howard, you can see how strong his arm is. He threw that ball at least 35 yards just on his back foot, and really took a lot of effort in terms of getting it out there. Good coverage by number 30, Brad Cochran, on the play.
So Todd Gregory will try the field goal. He's 5 for 7. This will be a 37-yard attempt to get the Badgers on the board on a 4th and 1. Got the distance, and it's no good. Off to the right, just missing it. A 37-yard attempt by Todd Gregory out of Green Bay, a sophomore who has struck on 5 out of 7 so far, but he is now 5 for 8, failing on that effort with 3:49 to go in the opening quarter. I want to go back. You diagnosed that pass play coming up to the tight end. You've got the Badgers playbook.
No, I was just lucky. But, you know, this really hurts Wisconsin, Ray. You know, we talked about this last week when Maryland moved the ball the same way on Michigan in their opening series, went down and missed a field goal, and now we have Wisconsin doing the same thing. It really takes a lot out of an offense to be able to move the ball and come away with nothing.
And Dave McLean's got to be thinking about that a little bit right now. Wisconsin kept that ball for slightly better than 4 minutes on that drive, and as you mentioned, Dennis, walks away with nothing but a goose egg. 7-0 Michigan, 3:49. Jamie Morris on the carry, tries to cut it back, gets 5 out of the carry. Loose ball, but I think the whistle had sounded as Jamie Morris's body had hit the ground before he dropped that ball. 5 yards on the carry. Sid Noor making the tackle along with Foley, and Morris now on 8 carries, 35 yards. You can pick up 5 a gallop like that, you're in pretty good shape.
And he can do it. He's so quick, Ray. He hits the hole very quickly. Doesn't take very much of a hole for him to get through there either, because he's only 5'7" and 175 pounds.
Gerald White, the fullback, number 22. And White on the carry this time. Maybe got 3 on that carry. Quick opening play, and the fellow that you were talking about, Raditz, earlier, making the hit.
Michigan changing up a little bit. Instead of running the tailback, tried the quick hitter inside to Gerald White.
Gary Moeller, the defensive coordinator of Michigan, has his defensive unit around him saying this is what to expect, guys, when we go back out there. 2:41 to go in the opening quarter. Morris has carried that ball twice now for a total of 7 yards. Michigan faced with a 3rd and 2. Harbaugh calling the signals. Second option play. Morris trying to get outside. Breaks the tackle for the 3rd time this afternoon. He was met by Foley head on, broke that tackle, and finally Raditz made the stop, but not until Morris had the first down.
Charlie Foley, who is 6'2", 219, is going to take on the 175-pound Morris, and you see who wins. Jamie Morris, very strong, and I tell you something, Ray, he did not have the first down when Foley met him. He made that first down all on his own.
Michigan has been faced with 3 third-down situations in this ball game and been successful on the conversions 3 times, 3 out of 3. 1st and 10 at the Michigan 33-yard line. Yoki split wide to the left in a slot formation. Little swing pass coming out now. They were trying to form a screen, and it was just Morris out there. Good coverage that time by Rob Johnson, the strong side safety. Got over there and made the hit on Morris.
I think the timing was off on this play.
Yeah, John Elliott, the tackle, was still trying to get out there.
Right, and you could see it because Jim Harbaugh pumped the ball 2 or 3 times to Morris, who wasn't looking. And it's the type of play, if the timing's not right, the defense can react, and that's why they lost the yardage.
Lost 4 on it, so they mark it back at the 29-yard line. A story on what Michigan has done as far as points, and you can break that down a little bit more to 24.6 average points per game after those total points. Trying to bring it back to the line of scrimmage, just about did that. A Komet and Boykins in there to make the stop on Harbaugh.
A lot of pressure that time by Wisconsin's defense. Actually, Tim Jordan, Lightning,
Lightning Jordan.
Lightning Jordan was on the blitz, and he was the one that interrupted Harbaugh's rhythm and forced him out of the pocket.
Michigan down 3rd and 14. Kozar split wide to the right. He's a freshman. Jokic, junior in eligibility, split wide to the left. 3rd and 14 in that pro set. And Harbaugh, looking over the Wisconsin defense, says, hey, I'm not going to take a chance. I'll call a timeout. So both teams have called timeouts here in the opening quarter. 36 seconds to go. And Harbaugh will come over to confer with his head coach, Bo Schembechler. Well, the Badgers, impressive with the 3 wins and no losses, as has Michigan been impressive. And the Badgers, as far as their offense this year, really doing a lot of work with their rushing department. 294 yards averaging a game, plus 164 in the passing department.
I got to believe, Ray, that something was that Jim saw in the secondary that caused him to call that particular timeout for the play that he had called. Apparently, he didn't think it was going to work or something, and he wanted to go over and talk to his coach about it and come up with a better play.
36 seconds to go in the opening quarter. You see the score. Michigan has rushed for a total of 44 yards so far. Wisconsin only a total of 6, and Michigan leading 6-0. Face now, 3rd and 14. I want to talk a little bit more what you just talked about, Dennis, when the quarterback is faced with something like that in the early stages of a ball game. 3rd and 14. Harbaugh on the run. Is going to have to hurry and will not come close to a first down. Really got close to the original line of scrimmage around the 33-yard line, so he made up 4 yards. And will be faced with about a 4th and 14, and it was Raditz on the run chasing him out of bounds.
I thought he had a lot of pressure. Jim Harbaugh had a lot of pressure on him that time. But Raditz, you could see on that particular play, has excellent speed because he was running with Jim step for step.
Nate Odoms, number 38, the deep man back to try to handle a punt from Monty Robbins. Michigan punting for the first time this afternoon. And Odoms averaging just about 11 yards in return. And this one off of Robinson's foot goes out of bounds right at the Michigan bench. A nasty kick. Couldn't find where he wanted to go. He's discussed it with himself. We'll see where they want to mark that football. It may be around the Michigan 44-yard line.
No, that's about the first time that I can recall that Michigan's offense has not given the defense good field position when they turn the football over. And now, as a result, Wisconsin is already in Michigan's territory, and they can take chances. One of the reasons why Michigan's defense is always as good as it is because the offense complements it so well. They will run the football and get you in good position.
Fullington in motion. That was an 11-yard punt by Robbins. Handoff this time to the fullback, Armentrout. And Armentrout, good speed for a fullback. Just a quick opening play and brought down by Hicks and Rivers, but not until he came close to the first down. He has a first down.
And also a very good call, Ray, because Armentrout was the guy that nobody figured would get the football. I'm sure everybody on that Michigan defense was anticipating Larry Emery, with the good field position that Wisconsin got, would get the football if they were to run it. And they changed up and gave it to Armentrout and picked up a first down.
He got 12 on the carry, on his first carry. 4th first down for Wisconsin. They try Armentrout again. A little cross play that time. And coming in to make the stop was Jim Scarcelli, the linebacker on the outside. And that play will close out the first quarter with Michigan leading by a score of 7-0. So a little discussion as Howard of Wisconsin heads over to the Wisconsin bench to see what Dave McLean has in mind on this drive for Wisconsin. And quickly, there'll be some consulting with Gary Moeller, the defensive coordinator of Michigan, by a few of his players on what he wants to do as far as countering against the Badgers.
And this will make this offensive Wisconsin offense doubly tough to defend against if Armentrout keeps picking up 5-6 yards on the first down carry.
7-0, Michigan leads. We'll be back with the second quarter in just a moment. Beginning of the second quarter, 2nd down and 4 for Wisconsin at the Michigan 26-yard line.
You can see Mike Howard, Ray, calling an audible on that play.
goes to Fullington, a wide receiver, who breaks the tackle and plows down inside the Michigan 15-yard line, finally brought down by Tony Gant. They had all wide receivers lined up on the right side, and was Fullington taking the short pattern.
And that's the formation that we saw before, where they would run Emory every time, the trips formation. And that's the first time we've seen the pass off of it. You can see Timmy Fullerton running the drag pattern, picking up another first down for Wisconsin.
5th first down for the Badgers, and Howard is 6 for 6, a story in the rushing department for the first quarter in this ball game. Little delay pattern coming out this time. It was Armentrout on the carry. Might have got a couple of yards out of it, and Hammerstein in there to make the stop on him. Just sort of trying to weave his way on that one, and brought it down to around the 11-yard line of Michigan. Give him a couple of yards on the carry, make it 2nd and 8.
You know, this Wisconsin team leads the Big Ten in non-conference rushing yardage. They came into this game with 882 yards total rushing.
Story, besides good runners in, means that you're getting some good blocking up front, too.
Very true.
And the fellow that's been leading the way, you saw him there, number 25, Emory, 2nd and 8. Fullington in motion. They have at the pro set now and behind Howard. Wants to go to the air, coming over the middle at the 5, completed. Be close to a first down. Rivers in there to make the tackle, and making the catch was Scott Sharon, the tight end, 6'2", 233-pounder.
Nice call, Ray. Mike Howard on the play-action pass, faking off tackle to Emory there, and then going back to his tight end, Scott Sharon, number 89, their 3rd leading receiver. First down, Wisconsin.
So knock it on the door. 6th first down by Wisconsin. Howard now in the passing department, 7 for 7, total of 67 yards. And here's a guy that's been out of the lineup for 2.5 weeks. Bad shoulder. He doesn't act that way today. Now Michigan's defense coming to a severe test, trying to prevent Wisconsin from getting in for the touchdown, trying to prevent Wisconsin to get anything on the board. 1st and goal.
That play-action pass worked so well, I wouldn't be surprised to see him come right back with it.
Howard to Emory, and breaking in there was Hammerstein. Hammerstein, close to the ground, came in and grabbed the foot. Heron on top.
This is really what makes this defense so great, Ray, is that somebody always comes up with a big play, and on this particular one, it's Mike Hammerstein beating his man across the line of scrimmage with good penetration, getting some help there from Mark Mesner. Number 60 coming across, and Hammerstein was really the guy who made the tackle for the loss on Larry Emory, number 25.
3 yards so far gained by Emory on 4 carries. Now Howard trying to find something open, getting pressure, man open. Was he over the line or not? Indication, touchdown, Wisconsin. Howard taking plenty of time, finally got a man open just over the goal line, and enough in there for the touchdown. So Wisconsin has put 6 points on the board, and Michigan has given up their first touchdown of the 1985 season. But that's not a bad average, is it?
Not at all, Ray. But it's a big touchdown for Wisconsin, and I tell you, Mike Howard really waited to the very, very last second to throw that football, and he really made the play, I thought, waiting for his receiver to come open.
Gregory to try for the extra point. He is 12 for 13 so far this season. They fake it, trying to go for 2 points, and no go. Cochran busting in there, and it was Brad Cochran, who came in hard and made sure that Wisconsin would not be successful on a 2-point conversion. So Michigan leading 7-6. Wisconsin trying to do a little trickery. It looked like the snap was okay.
Yeah, that's the type of play, right? It can make you a star if you successfully complete it, but it doesn't make you look very good when you don't.
Jim Snyder, our statistician, reminds me now, even though Michigan has given up a touchdown for the first time this year, he says, remember, Michigan has not given up an extra point yet this season.
Good point. Here you see the touchdown again.
Fullington.
I'm not so sure he was in either, Ray. If we get a chance, maybe we can look at that again. But it was a nice catch by Fullington. number 20. Let's take another look. This particular angle will show you how long Mike Howard waits for his receiver to come open. The very last minute, and you'll see number 49, Andy Moeller, put the tackle on Fullerton. I don't know. You be the judge.
Well, Michigan goes 13 quarters, finally coughing up in the 14th quarter, their first touchdown. But Fullington now scoring his 4th touchdown via the air and one on a kickoff return of 95 yards. So the youngster with 5 touchdowns this season, a sophomore out of Grafton, Wisconsin. 7-6 Michigan leads. Gregory with the kickoff. And that one will bounce out of bounds around the 6-yard line. And we may try it again. I'll tell you, that was really close at the goal line. Again, Dennis, on that pass. Going up in the air, he was hit as he was coming down. Story on the Badgers scoring drive on that 6-yard touchdown pass, but capped it off.
Keep in mind, they got the excellent field position. They only had to go 44 yards, Ray, because of the poor punt by Michigan. Good football game. Very balanced. Both offenses very strong. Able to move the football.
Colzar, number 40. Morris, number 23, going back to try the kickoff now, returning it. March back to the 35-yard line. Gregory to try it again. Gregory, just a sophomore, had a great season last year for Wisconsin, one of the top kickers in the Big Ten. This will be Jamie Morris. Around his 2-yard line, finds the handle now, gets it back to the 10, 15, 20, 25. Close to the 27-yard line. It didn't look that good around the 2-yard line when he dropped it, but recovered. He got the afterburners going for himself and brought it back just around the 27-yard line. Finally brought down by Gregory.
You can see here that he lets the ball squirt through his hands, but with his excellent speed, Ray, he can run so fast at, I think, 10.5 in 100 meters. And there was a tremendous hole in the Wisconsin defense. He was able to make up the yardage and give Michigan good field position.
Ball marked at the 26-yard line, so we go from there 1st and 10. Morris on a carry again, gets outside, first down to the 40. And finally, 3 Wisconsin tacklers get him out of bounds around the 43-yard line. Jamie Morris on the carry. 55 yards on 10 carries.
He's really got it going today, Ray. Watch him cut behind number 79, Clay Miller, and number 67, John Vitale. Cuts to the outside, and once he's out there, he's able to turn on his speed and pick up a first down for Michigan.
Foley, Spencer, Sidnor in there on the stop finally, but not until he got to the 43-yard line. 1st and 10. Colzar in motion now, number 40. To the fullback this time, and this is Perryman on his first carry of the afternoon. As Bob Perryman, the young man out of Buzzards Bay, Massachusetts, the junior, going straight ahead and getting across the 45-yard line to the 46. 2nd and 7, 3-yard carry. Again, Gary Moeller talking to that defensive unit. Gary, who is a defensive coordinator and assistant coach to Bo Schembechler.
I'm sure they're making some adjustments on that running game. Wisconsin, with the strong running game, was able to run the ball too easy against Michigan, and I'm sure they're going to make some adjustments with respect to that.
Harbaugh rolling to his left and firing. Caddis making the catch at the 40. Are they going to rule it a completed pass? But I'll tell you, had Colzar, number 40, had gone down almost on a post pattern, was all by himself. And in defense of Harbaugh, he was running to his left, probably did not spot it. He picked up his first open man he saw.
Well, what really made this play was the fake inside. You can see both linebackers trailing Harbaugh, and once he gets outside, he's got all the options available to him. He could have run or thrown the football, decided to throw to his tight end for a first down.
So Caddis with a second catch of the afternoon, a 1st and 10. Here comes Morris straight ahead. and plows it up to around the 37-yard line, maybe 3, possibly 4 yards on the carry, brought down by Brannaman. And Morris has been busy in the first half, 11 carries for 60 yards, and give him 3 yards on the carry, make it 2nd and 7.
Having another outstanding day, Ray.
Perfection by the quarterbacks. Harbaugh 5 for 5 on the other side of the ledger. Howard 8 for 8 for Wisconsin. Perriman taking that ball on the option, really. Maybe 3 yards across the 35. They'll mark it close to the 34-yard line. And Dick Teets, tackle on the right side in the place of Komet there, making the tackle.
Jim Harbaugh 5 for 5 already today. You remember, Ray, last week against Maryland, he was 8 for 8 in the first half and ended up throwing the interception right before the half and ended up 8 for 9. But he's just having an outstanding season so far, Jim Harbaugh.
Michigan on a 3rd and 3 now. At the 33. Morris got the first down with room to spare by about 4, but there is a flag down just about at the line of scrimmage. Fawley, the linebacker, drove him out of bounds. And we'll check on to see if this flag is against Michigan. Holding against the Wolverines.
That hurts.
Wisconsin had got pretty good pursuit, had got over there, then all of a sudden Morris was able to get outside.
I think Lance Brannaman, number 68, gets penetration. Let's see, right there. And I'm not sure who was guilty of the holding.
Couldn't tell from a replay. At least the numbers and the players that we saw in our replay.
But it's really a costly penalty because it takes away the first down. And instead of first down, now it's 3rd down and 13.
Michigan's second penalty for a total now of 15 yards. That's total. They marched off to 5 against him, back now on a 3rd and 13. Otto Kortz, the referee, you saw him give you the holding indication. Back at the Wisconsin 43, 3rd and 13. Harbaugh trying to go to Morris. Morris almost came up with a circus catch. It was thrown behind him. Nice effort there and covered on the play by Fawley. And there's no way I think that linebacker on a one-on-one could stay with him if he was going down a couple of more yards and had it not been a sideline pattern.
You're right, Ray. Unfortunately, Jim Harbaugh was not able to wait a few more steps, because if he does that, not only is it an easier pass, but it gives Morris a chance to really beat Fawley and turn on his speed and go downfield and possibly end up with a touchdown.
Oh, look for it a little bit later on then. Monty Robbins with his second kick, much better after his 11-yard effort the first time. Odoms was back deep for Wisconsin. Bounces around at the goal line. Knocked back out. I think that was Rivers who flicked it back out. It was very close, and a flag has gone down in the end zone. So the Wolverines are trying to get it to be whistled dead at the 1-yard line or at the goal line, but it didn't work.
Odoms, number 38, the punt returner, did a very nice job of acting as if he was going to catch the ball, which caused the Michigan defenders to follow him and not follow the ball, because they were down there. Had they been looking up for the ball instead of watching him, they would have been able to down the ball inside the 5.
The old decoy.
The old decoy.
So it's a touchback and brought back to the Wisconsin 20-yard line. 9 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the first half. Michigan leading Wisconsin 7-6. Wisconsin trying to go for a 2-point conversion after their touchdown and failed on it. On a good defensive play by Cochran, preventing the 2 points from getting on the board. Going no place, just to the line of the scrimmage. That was Larry Emery on the carry and got nothing out of it. And Harris making the hit.
Good penetration by 56, Billy Harris. Right there, wrapping up Larry Emery.
Actually lost a yard on the play. Half a yard. We'll call it 2nd and 11.
And they may have made that adjustment. We talked about the defense wanting to stop that first down run by Wisconsin.
Howard faking now, and they made another adjustment. Two of the Wolverines in there to make the hit. Mark Messner and Mike Hammerstein sort of put the pincer movement on him that time. And Mike Howard not too happy, a little dejection. Meanwhile, on the sidelines, a little happiness.
There's really nothing that Mike Howard can do in a situation like that with outstanding penetration by the Michigan defensive line.
Armentrout still in there at fullback for Wisconsin, and the Badgers faced with a 3rd and 22. They lost 11 on that play, so well ironed out by Hammerstein and Messner on the tackle. Wisconsin, as you saw, started to come out of a huddle. The official said, no, you got a little time. Go ahead and try it again. Meanwhile, on the sideline, Bo Schembechler and staff. Third and 22 for the Badgers back at their own 8-yard line. Armentrout on the carry to fullback. Messner in there to stop him for Michigan. Wisconsin, I think, had decided, let's not do any gambling, see what we can going straight ahead. We're going to play for the punt.
Absolutely. There's no sense in making a turnover in a situation like this and giving Michigan an ideal situation to score another touchdown. Wisconsin figuring that they would at least like to make Michigan earn the next touchdown by punting the ball away and hopefully forcing them to run the ball on offense in order to score.
You liked the adjustment by the defense, too, didn't you? Sapecki, punt is taken by Gant at the 48-yard line. Really hit hard at the 39-yard line, but he makes a good return and puts Michigan in good field position. A 39-yard punt by Sapecki. Troy Spencer is a guy that really belted them at the 39.
Gant, number 14, look out. It's the kind you can't see. You get close to the sideline and you don't expect to be hit like that. A lot of times, a lot of players are injured.
That's right.
In that very situation. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to try to call this one here to see a play-action pass because Michigan's got ideal field position, and I think that they might take a chance. Nope.
Tailback carrying this time. Jamie Morris straight ahead, close to the 35-yard line. Pauly on the tackle, the linebacker, and Morris has carried a dozen times from 64 yards. 4-yard carry, 2nd and 6.
I guess I've really lost touch with how Bo I used to be able to call those.
Well, how about this time, a 2nd and 6? Huh? No?
Hey, you can do anything you want at second and 6.
Using the pro set now in behind Harbaugh.
There it is.
And pass is complete to Perriman, the fullback. Raditz driving him out of bounds, but Michigan gets the first down. And Perriman coming up with the reception that time, his 3rd catch in 1985.
Once again, Jim Harbaugh has all of his options available to him because once he breaks contain and gets outside, there's really no support out there. So if he chooses to run, he could have picked up the first down that way or by throwing the ball and completing the pass for the first down, which is what he chose to do.
He is 6 for 7 now in the passing department for a total of 54 yards. Colsar in motion, number 40, and Morris really greeted as he came up to the line of scrimmage. Boy, you could hear that hit all the way up here. Peterson came in, number 71. He's actually the 2nd-string tackle, but he's playing right now in the place of Brannaman on that left side, and got over there and made a big hit. On a gloomy afternoon, the cheerleaders of Michigan trying to get some color going here and cheering from the Wolverine crowd. Michigan leading 7-6, 5:35 to go in the first half, a 2nd and 9 at the Wisconsin 21-yard line. Making the adjustment, now going to that pro set, working the option, toss going to Morris. Morris close to the first down. Boy, he was springing around like a jackrabbit over there along the sideline, and finally hit by Fields and Johnston and driven out of bounds, close to the first down, maybe shy by a yard.
You can see Jim Harbaugh doing a good job of going all the way down to the line of scrimmage and then waiting till the last minute to pitch the ball back to Jamie Morris. And then he does a fine job of cutting up inside and getting every inch of the football field he can get.
Mike Hosar, you see him at the bottom of the screen, number 74, just out of your screen now. The guard who was banged up last week in the arm is limping off now to the sideline, and Michigan really had to make an adjustment this week in that offensive line, the interior part of that line. And Hosar coming off right now, and we hope to see him back in action. Vitale in there. He started this afternoon. Michigan 3rd and 5 in conversions. They are 3rd and 1 right now. Close to the first down. Wait till they unpile. Jamie Morris on the carry. A couple Michigan players indicating yes, but I think maybe we might get a measurement out of it.
Well, in the offensive line, Ray, Tabachenko, Bob, the center, moved over to the weak guard position, and they brought in the second-string center, Andy Borowski, and Michigan picks up the first down. But Borowski had a lot to think about on that particular play because that was his first snap as a center. Plus, the play that was called went right over center. So not only did he have to snap the ball, but he had to think about his responsibility as an offensive lineman. And Jamie Morris really did a fine job of picking up the first down really on his own.
Jamie Morris, the busy young man in the first half for Michigan. First down, Michigan at the 11-yard line of Wisconsin. Oh, movement on the left side. A little anxious. Clay Miller that time, jumping the count a little bit, and we'll see 5 yards marked off against the Wolverines. Be their 3rd penalty coming up of the afternoon for a total of 20 yards. So along that forward wall now for Michigan, we mentioned Clay Miller on that strong side tackle, number 79, John Elliott on the other side of tackle, 72. And then with Tabacino, Vitale, and Borowski in there.
Clay Miller knows better than that. He was an academic All-American in high school. So, you know, he's one of the smarter linemen that Michigan has.
Tabacino centering this one. Jamie Morris. And Morris getting close to the 10-yard line. Driven out of bounds by Sidnor. Really using the tailback in this first half.
Jamie doing a real good job of holding on to the football too, Ray. Last week we saw him fumble a couple times.
Got just about 5 out of it and bringing it back to the original line of scrimmage before the penalty. Although it's just a little shy. It's about 10.5 yards, but we'll call it 2nd and 11.
Play action pass.
Still waiting for that play action pass. Jamie Morris on a pitch out. And good pursuit in there that time by the linebacker. And that was Russ Fields at the bottom of the pile for Wisconsin. It's getting a little tougher picking up that yardage.
Good penetration by Wisconsin's defense.
That's not to say now, Dennis, that a play-action pass wouldn't have been a good play, right?
I thought ideally 2nd and long, that would have been the situation for it.
Faced now with a 3rd and 11 at the 12-yard line. The story in the passing department thus far in the ball game. And we'll see what Harbaugh has in mind here. Fakes the handoff, looking to the end zone, intended for Colzar, and we're going to get interference on a play by Nate Odoms, number 38, who was covering Colzar on the play. Now, you remember the old rule, it would have been marked out to the 2-yard line on pass interference in the end zone. But it'll be marked off from the line of scrimmage under the new collegiate rules. Called against Odoms of Wisconsin. Automatic first down for Michigan. and they keep the drive alive.
Let's take a look at the call here and see whether or not it was pass interference. Finally, we get our play action pass, but you'll see Nate Odoms, number 38. I don't know, Ray.
At the 2-yard line. You don't think maybe...
I don't really, you know, it wasn't...
a tough play to make, even a catch, huh?
That was a tough call.
Michigan at the door. At the 2-yard line. Morris. Right knocking at the door at the goal line. Needed 2 yards to hit on that goal line. Come up a little shy. Mark it at about the 1-foot line at the bottom of that pile for Wisconsin. Jordan down there. Morris now on 18 carries for 80 yards.
Real good penetration, once again, by the Wisconsin defense.
The entire Wisconsin team has carried 10 times for a total of just 12 yards in the ground. Need about a foot for the touchdown. Got movement, and it might be against Michigan, the left side.
It's Clay Miller again. He was reacting to the Wisconsin lineman, defensive lineman moved, which he's allowed to do. And then, for some reason, Clay Miller, number 79, moved, and that's a legal procedure. You cannot do that.
See number 27 on the right of your screen, Wilcher in there, Tommy Wilcher. In a running back position. First time that he has been in the lineup this afternoon. Now Morris is checking back in. You'll see him come into the huddle, number 23. And Wilcher comes out. So Tom was in there. Might have had the call for that one last carry had they got it. Instead, they got a penalty that marches them just outside the 5-yard line. So it's 2nd and 5. Harbaugh looks over the Wisconsin defense with 2:14 to go. Doesn't like what he sees and calls a timeout. So the second timeout of the half by Michigan.
And Bo's a little upset. I think he wanted him to save that particular timeout. This is the second time that he's had to call timeout, and you can see he's kind of yelling at Jim.
And
Harbaugh.
Jimmy sort of showing some emotion right back at his head coach.
Yeah. That's easy to do. I mean, I can recall many times walking over to the sideline when I really didn't even want to go over there because I knew I was going to get yelled at. And once you got over there to listen to Bo talk to you, sometimes he's a little demonstrative with his words.
Well, you're putting it nicely. Now, last week you said he mellowed a little bit, huh? He may have mellowed on the outside.
He's mellowed. Trust me, he's mellowed a lot compared to when I used to be down there on the sideline.
Story on this ball game in the scoring department, 7-6, 2:14 to go, and the summit meeting continues there at the Michigan bench between Harbaugh and his coach, Jim Beckler.
He really doesn't like to see his offensive team waste timeouts, and basically, both times, Jim has had to go over and call timeout because of the linemen. The offensive line going up and not being in the right position, and instead of taking the penalty, he's had to call timeout to make the right adjustment. So that's not the kind of timeout that Bo appreciates.
And meanwhile, Dave McLean of Wisconsin hoping that his defense can hold Michigan. On this drive, Michigan has had 8 plays, and of the 8 plays, Morris has carried 7 times. Now we'll see what Michigan has in mind. Just outside the 5-yard line, we're going to call it 2nd and 6. And that's what they need for the touchdown. Morris back in there at tailback. In front of him is White. And Harbaugh rolling out. And to Morris, touchdown. Flicks it, brother. It's to the fullback, White. Check it. To White, the fullback. The pass going to White, Gerald White, the junior out of Titusville, Missouri.
That was a very nice call on Michigan's part, Ray. What they did was flood the zone. They put Kozar and Jokic on the same side in the slot formation, and then they rolled Jim Harbaugh that way, putting additional pressure, because if the linebacker stays back and covers White, number 22, who ended up with the touchdown, then Jim Harbaugh has the option of running for the touchdown as well.
And Gillette has the extra point, going right through the uprights, and Michigan leading now 14-6. White as Dennis described the play and how it worked, coming up with his first touchdown through the air this year. And White does have a couple of previous touchdowns that he scored in the rushing department. So his third of the season. And right now, with 2:10 to go in the first half, Michigan leading 14-6.
Okay, you can take another look here, Ray. Now, if you're the defensive guy, you're the linebacker, you're either responsible for Jim Harbaugh, who's getting ready and running into your face, or you stay back and cover White. Either way, you're going to end up losing because it's up to the quarterback to decide. He's going to read you, the linebacker, and make up his mind what to do. If you stay back, he runs. If you come up, you dump the ball to the fullback for the touchdown.
And you make that sound so easy, like it's coming out of the textbook. You've been through it, and of course, you're moving all the time. Sometimes you don't see that receiver until the last second, but you're looking for the commitment by the defensive course.
Right. You're waiting for the defense to make a commitment, and you're supposed to adjust accordingly. It's the type of play. It's a special situation type of play when you get down on the goal line, and they run it all week long in practice, so you get a chance to react to your own defense and see how they want to react to it, and you spontaneously choose to do the right thing, hopefully.
You can see Fullington and number 85, Bobo, at the last second just before Setkowitz kicked off, but the breeze blew it off the tee that time, and Wisconsin, who sort of hides their men down there at the goal line, not showing the defense who's going to be on what side of the field.
And you see the cold toes.
Yeah, that's right. What's the matter with my tee today? Would somebody please come over here and hold it for me? And we'll see if we can get something going here. So Randall comes over to assist. Now he doesn't need Randall. Fullington at the 10. Good coverage by Michigan and brought up to the 25-yard line. That's another thing that Bo has been happy with. I think the really progressive attitude and play of his special teams so far this season.
Yeah, they've been very strong. Fullington, number 20, coming up, filling this ball. Did a good job of getting his team pretty good field position. 29-yard line.
Saw number 99, Bostic, on top there.
Check that, 24-yard line.
Trying to ride him down to the ground. They mark it at the 24-yard line. Michigan leading 14-6, 2:05 to go here in the first half. Emery, a year ago, as we told you, had 185 yards. He's finding the going tough in the first half. Hammerstein making the hit that time. Emery has carried 6 times for 4 yards. And a story on that scoring drive by Michigan, using the 9 plays and taking 5 minutes and 4 seconds off the clock. Incomplete at the 30-yard line. Gant in there, well, with Mallory. Sharon, the tight end, trying to come through to make that reception.
I really didn't understand the first down call, Ray, by Wisconsin. If you're going to choose to use the 2-minute offense, then why on first down run your halfback off tackle? It really doesn't. It's very inconsistent. I didn't think it was a very good call. If you're going to try to move the ball and either get a field goal or a touchdown, then you ought to come out and throw the football on first down, particularly with only 2 minutes left.
So you rule out any rushing play?
Right now, yes.
Third down and 9. Howard looking for somebody, had a man open for a while, and throws it right over into the hands of Ivan Hicks. And Hicks brings it down close to the 24-yard line. Howard had a man wide open down the middle of the field, couldn't spot him. He elected to go to the intended receiver along the sideline, and standing right there was Ivan Hicks, who comes up with his second interception of the season.
Very big mistake here by Mike Howard. He's looking downfield, and he takes his eye off of his receiver. Then he comes back to the area. By that time, Ivan Hicks had moved up underneath. You can see the double coverage over there. Cochran had him deep, and Ivan Hicks had him short. So when Howard looked away, Ivan made his move, and when he came back, he just threw the ball right to Ivan Hicks for the interception.
The intended receiver was Fullington, number 20. Now Michigan, great field position with 1:32 to go. First and 10 at the 25-yard line of Wisconsin. Harbaugh trying to strike for something in a hurry here. Goes out to Jamie Morris, complete. Enough for the first down inside the 15-yard line to the 14-yard line. That's the play you were probably looking for Wisconsin on the 1st and 10 when they had the ball.
Right. That's the kind of play that they should have been trying to work on their first down play. Jim Harbaugh on this play has every receiver that he wants open. It doesn't matter who he wants to throw to. You can see White, number 22, the fullback, was open in the flat. He came back to Morris across the field, but everybody was open.
1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Swing pass out to Jamie Morris. Gets it down to the 10-yard line. Line of scrimmage was the 14-yard line. 4 yards on that little swing pass. Make it 2nd and 6. At the 10-yard line. Hurry up offense by Michigan with 56 seconds to go in the half.
Harbaugh calling the play at the line of scrimmage.
Looped that one out. Got out of bounds. He might have thought Jokic was going to make a cut to the right. Instead, Jokic made the cut to the left, to the inside part of the end zone. There were a couple of defenders over there. One safety thing. At least he got it out, stopped the clock with 50 seconds to go.
Right. I'm not so sure whether he was throwing that ball away or Jokic didn't run the right cut, the cut that he wanted him to run.
The pass didn't have much on it. I thought, well, maybe this would be just trying to stop the clock and get it out.
Right. It's a possibility.
Eric Campbell has checked in. Here's what Jamie Morris has done in his career with Michigan in 1984. He's added to that this afternoon already here in the first half. 3rd and 6. Harbaugh, this time trying for Caddis and throws it out of bounds. Caddis was over there, got a flag down, and we might have Michigan for holding. We'll wait and see. Almost the same play, a different intended receiver. And again, I thought it looked more as if he was trying to get that ball out that time. Although Caddis was covered pretty well by 2 defenders of the Badgers over there. Preliminary indication against Michigan as this penalty coming up.
It's going to be holding, I think, Ray.
I think so, too. Harbaugh going back there had good protection. Now, had a long time, really, for that play to develop. And it's marched back against Michigan to the 20-yard line.
What do you think here? On 3rd down there, if they decline the penalty, Michigan's forced to go for the field goal. Now, they're going to give them another shot at going for the touchdown.
And got to get it down to the 4-yard line for a Michigan first down. So that means that they've got 16 yards to go for that, or they can go to try for the end zone. I don't know. You think about, well, maybe I just give them the 3 points.
Yeah.
Forget about it, huh?
You never know. Maybe, you never know.
Michigan, 3rd and 16. Caddis and Campbell, the wide receivers. Harbaugh getting plenty of pressure. Goes over to Caddis. Nice catch there. Tries to pull it down to the 5-yard line. Needed to get to the 4 for the first down. We'll see where they spot that ball. Eric Sidner in there to make the stop on Caddis. Good running effort after he made the reception by Caddis. They mark it at the 5, just shy of the first down.
Very nice job by Jim Harbaugh staying in the pocket, and somehow, I don't know how he found his tight end, Eric Caddis, number 81 right there, who is wide open because coverage had moved back downfield. Caddis got an opportunity. You'll see here, good pressure being put on by Tim Jordan, number 95, the linebacker there. And Harbaugh throwing the ball out to Eric Caddis. Now he puts his head down and burrows forward, trying to pick up the first down.
Good call. He came right down to that line
On
at
the
the
line.
5 where they marked it. Shy of the first down. Michigan, with 30 seconds to go in the half, has elected to go for the 3 points.
And Jim Harbaugh, even though he was tackled and down on that play, had the presence of mind to get up and call timeout. That's the reason why there's still time left on the clock, and Michigan's got a chance to go for this field goal.
Good point, Dennis Franklin. Gillette marked at the 12. A 22-yard field goal by Mike Gillette. And so Michigan takes a 17-6 lead with 27 seconds to go here in the first half on the 22-yard field goal by Mike Gillette. Some interesting calls, some interesting plays in the last minute and a half by the University of Michigan, I thought, Dennis, and I was impressed by the way they moved the ball almost back down for that first down at the 4-yard line.
They really mixed it up, Ray. I was surprised that the one pass play looked like they were a bit confused to Jokic. Looked like that old fade pattern where you just kind of alley-oop the ball and let him go up with his 6'8" height and try to beat the shorter defender. But Harbaugh was lucky to get the ball out of bounds so it wasn't intercepted, and they came back with the crossing pattern. And then we had the holding penalty and the tight end delay pass to Caddis, who got him back down to almost a first down, and they ended up kicking the field goal.
I meant to ask you this earlier. When we had an early timeout, you said that Bo doesn't like the offense to call timeout, to waste a timeout. How much leverage do you have as a quarterback under Bo to call that audible at the line?
Well, when I played, Ray, we never had the ability to change a running play to a passing play at the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
The only audibles that we used to call were which side of the line do we want to run on. We'd come up and say it's a running play, we'll go either right or we'll go left. Or if it was a passing play, you can obviously go to the receiver you want to, but you couldn't change a passing play to a running play.
Fullington took it to this 8-yard line. They're going to whistle it dead. Michigan came up with a fumble, but I think one of the officials has ruled it dead at the 13 or 14-yard line. Nice play by Thiebert, Steve Thiebert, the junior out of Wall Lake Central, coming in there to make the hit on him. It's ruled dead, ruling that he had hit the turf when the whistle had sounded, and mark it at the 14-yard line. Still good coverage on that kickoff.
Quick whistle.
Really was.
It really was a very quick whistle.
The Badgers, with some catching up to do, they may have to wait until the third and fourth quarters with only 22 seconds remaining here in the first half. Michigan leading 17-6. Howard still in there at quarterback. Coming out to Fullington, trying to get the screen form and going no place. Brought down around the 18-yard line. And Wisconsin calling for a timeout with 11 seconds to go. And a flag is down way back around the 37-yard line, way up the field. Still in Wisconsin territory, but right in front of the Michigan bench. We'll wait to see if one of the officials comes over there to pick it up. But there's a flag down right in front of the Michigan bench.
The one official apparently indicated a push.
Going to be against Michigan, huh?
Against Michigan.
Happening in the defensive backfield of Michigan then. And this will be a big one, marked off up to the 32-yard line. Michigan capping off that 5-play scoring drive with a 22-yard field goal from Mike Gillette on that last one to give them their 17 points after 2 touchdowns earlier. 17-6. Little pushing and shoving on the Michigan defense in the backfield.
Ray, Wisconsin is in a situation now where you may have a trick-type play. This would be the ideal situation to call it. You only got 11 seconds. You got some 69, 68 yards to go for a touchdown. This is a situation where you want to call a trick play and maybe get a last-minute touchdown.
Using 3 wide receivers out there. Instead, Mallory intercepts, now loses the ball. Fullington comes up, and a flag goes down at the 45-yard line. Time runs out. The flag is down. Wisconsin not going to the locker room. Michigan heading for the locker room. Meanwhile, confusion down on the field. We got everybody out there. Well, it was a wild play that time, but you can credit Doug Mallory coming up with the interception. Then lost the ball on the return back around the 45-yard line. That's where we saw the flag go down. Time was running out, but the flag had gone down before time ran out, and they're not going to go to the locker room with the flag on the ground.
Yeah, they're going to have one more play. I don't think you can end it on a penalty. In the half on a penalty.
Bobo acting as if he was the fellow that had picked up that fumble for Wisconsin. Clipping called against Michigan on the return after the interception.
Now that's it.
And that is it.
Okay,
now it's completed. Penalty is against Michigan, 15 yards. And time has run out. We'll get all ready, try to get ourselves composed for the second half here. And here's confusion supreme on this last play.
Mike Howard going down the middle. I believe for his tight end was the intended receiver. No, check that. Number 85, Bobo. the wide receiver. Mallory doing a nice job on the interception. And then I think his own man caused the fumble. He ran into one of his fellow Michigan players that he probably thought was going to block for him, and then ended up knocking the ball out of his hand.
And Mallory has come up with his third interception of 1985. So take a deep breath. We're glad you were around for the first half. We hope that you'll stick around for the second half in our halftime activities here. I'm Ray Lane along with Dennis Franklin. And the score after the first 30 minutes of play here at Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, Michigan. The Wolverines of Michigan 17, the Badgers of Wisconsin 6. Don't go away, but first, let's enjoy this message.
17, Ohio State, nothing.
Interesting. Opening kickoff of the second half is underway, and Bobby Taylor has the ball. Taylor brings it back to the 20-yard line, 21-yard line. Bostic making the tackle for the University of Michigan. Michigan player down on the field around the 23 on the far side of the field. A little slow getting up.
I think it's Doug Mallory.
It is. Mallory, the young man who closed out the first half with the interception against Wisconsin. And now coming back and seems to be a little stunned, but okay.
Believe it or not, Doug's Michigan's leading interceptor. He had 2 coming into this game and 1 already in the first half, so that gives him a total of 3.
Saw a couple of the fine trainers, of course, Russ Miller, and then Ray Thompson was over there, Roy Thompson, Rex that is, excuse me, to help him out, and got him under their playing conditions, and they're okay now. First and 10, Wisconsin at the 21-yard line. Howard going to the air to start that first play. Not quite enough for the first down. Mallory drives him out of bounds for Michigan on the far side of the field.
Pass play completed to Armentrout, number 23 that time. I believe that's what they got to do, right? That's the type of thing that Wisconsin has got to do to keep Michigan off balance. Come out on first down and try an occasional play action type pass.
2 yards to go for the first down. They gave out on that one. You saw Emery. Now Emery on the carry. Cuts back, started taking fake a couple of steps to his left, and then cut back to the right against the grain. Got enough for the first down and brought down by Scarcelli. So he's carried 7 times now for a total of 10 yards. And Wisconsin having the first down now of the second half.
And that was clearly Emery's biggest gain. Clearly his biggest gain. I think he picked up 5 or 6 yards on that particular play. 6 to be exact.
At the 35-yard line, the Badgers. Armentrout, fullback, breaks a couple of tackles and drives it up to the 43, the 44-yard line. They'll mark it back at the 43. Brad Cochran at the bottom of that pile.
This is a quick trap inside. Armentrout off tackle, running hard. Good balance.
Messner met him at the line of scrimmage. He broke that tackle and finally picked up a couple additional yards. And he is carried now 5 times for a total of 29. That's Armentrout of Wisconsin. 2nd and 2. A lot of running room that time, and getting outside was Armentrout again. Rivers and Gant bringing him down for Michigan.
Same identical play. This time instead of off tackle left, he went off tackle right. But I thought the thing that really made that particular play was the cut by Joe Armentrout. Cut way back behind his offensive tackle into the open field. Another first down for Wisconsin.
Armentrout, 6'1", 216, showing some good speed once he gets to that line of scrimmage. Goes again this time. And gets close to the Michigan 45-yard line. Andy Moeller, the linebacker, in there to get him around the ankles to make the stop. So Armentrout on back-to-back carries. And gets that one to the Michigan 45-yard line. Couple of yards on a carry, make it 2nd and 8 for the Badgers.
Really important for them to pick up some good yardage here. I think they've got to play action pass.
Going deep, Howard down a sideline. And a great catch, and flags are down. And we'll see how they rule that one. Off the fingertips and then into the hands of Bobo. A couple of Michigan defenders led by Tony Gant along with Rivers defending on that play, and they'll bring it back to the line of scrimmage. Flag is down at the 8-yard line at Michigan. And it'll be against Michigan, the penalty.
Here's the play action pass that we felt that they should call. And instead of just trying to pick up a first down, they're going for all of it to Fred Bobo, number 85 out of Milwaukee. 6'1", 185 pounds. Actually came in as their leading receiver with 9 catches and 170 yards. That's an average of 18.9 and 2 touchdowns. Fred Bobo. Ball was right there on the money.
Couldn't hang on to it, but the flags could go down, and the interference is called against Michigan. And it's marched down to the 30-yard line. 7th penalty against the Wolverines for a total of 65 yards. 1st and 10, Badgers. Howard getting pressure and could not maintain balance. Akers, the outside linebacker, Jeff Akers, out of Lynn, Massachusetts, leading the way that time for the Michigan defense.
Without taking anything away from the Michigan defense, this is a big mistake by Mike Howard. He's got plenty of time here, and he's got to decide now whether or not I'm going to throw the football or just get rid of it. There's no way he should lose that kind of yardage in that particular situation, because he had enough time, Ray, to know that either your receivers are... I can't afford to lose that much yardage. Now get rid of it and save my position, my field position.
He loses 14 yards all the way back to the 44-yard line. Line of scrimmage started at the 30-yard line, 2nd and 24. Howard going over the top this time to his tight end, Scott Sharon. Around Sharon's ankles, Garland Rivers. Bo Schembechler earlier this week talking about number 13, his cornerback, Garland Rivers, says, I just like the way he's playing. He's playing with intensity, and he is again this afternoon.
He's a hitter. Likes to hit people. Here's another look at that play to Sharon, number 89, the tight end. It's just a crossing pattern where he runs in front of the quarterback. The quarterback just waits for him to come open in between linebackers and throws the ball to him.
3rd and 16 at the Michigan 36-yard line. 3 wide receivers on that left side. Howard trying to find one of them. Goes to the short man instead. And Fullington makes the reception, only to have Mike Mallory there knocking on the door to make the tackle. And so no big gain on that one. A very sort of conservative call on a 3rd and long yardage.
Very conservative, particularly on the part of Mike Howard, because he chose to go to Fullington. And there was no way he was going to get a first down unless he ran for it. And it simply just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to throw the ball in that particular situation to a short receiver who has no chance of making a first down.
12 for 15 in the passing department. You see Todd Gregory has checked in, number 5, their field goal expert, who is 5 for 8. He missed on a 37-yard effort in the first half. This was being just about 48 yards. It'll drop short on his effort. So for the second time this afternoon, Gregory has failed to come up with the 3-point field goal. This was definitely a much longer distance for him to try to make it, although he did have a little bit of a breeze at his back.
Yeah, that you can accept, missing a 48, 49-yard field goal, but 37 is a different story.
4 minutes and 50 seconds by the Badgers, and they did that for about 4.5 minutes in the first quarter and came up with nothing on the scoreboard, and likewise here in the third quarter. Now Michigan takes over, 1st and 10 at the Wolverines' 32-yard line. Almost a replay of what we saw in the first half. Jamie Morris on the carry, busted outside and got some good yardage, about 5. 19th carry for Jamie for a total of 88 yards. Harbaugh quickly went over to check with Schembechler, 2nd and 5.
He can afford to do that, Ray. Jim Harbaugh going over and talking to Bo Schembechler, because they're in position right in front of the bench, so it doesn't take him that long to get over to the sideline and get back to the huddle.
Pitch to Morris. Guts it back, doesn't get enough for the first down, close to the 40-yard line. Needs about 2 more yards for the first down, and Boykins, the nose guard in there for Wisconsin to the bottom of the pile. Linebackers did a pretty good job of stringing that play out, too, for Wisconsin. An even 20 carries for Jamie, trying to get a 100-plus day if he can, as he has 90 yards on those 20 carries thus far. Morris coming in the ball game, averaging a little more than 4.8 per carry. Saw the double tight end there, and they go to Perryman, the fullback, fumble on the reception, and recovered by Michigan at the sidelines. And some quick reaction that time as Jamie Morris dives for that loose football, give the completed pass to Perryman from Harbaugh, lost the handle, and then recovered by Michigan at the Wisconsin 43-yard line.
What a pretty play by Jim Harbaugh on the run. Watch him put this ball right on the money to Bob Perryman, just like he handed it to him, right on his shoulder pad where he could catch the ball. Perryman, working upfield, is hit by number 21, Johnstone, and fumbles the football, and Jamie Morrison alertly comes over and recovers it for Michigan.
Michigan has struck for 103 yards so far in the air this afternoon. 8:34 to go. They fake the handoff. Harbaugh trying to find somebody open. And Jokic wide open all by himself at the 26-yard line of Wisconsin. Wasn't a man around him. He was not the deep threat, however. And one of the defenders had gone with one of the deep threats.
They flooded the zone, Ray. They put 22 White in the short zone, and they sent somebody else deep. You see White there, and Jokic went in between the two zones, and he was wide open, and Harbaugh threw another bullet. Perfect pass. First down, Michigan.
Turnover story thus far in the ball game. Not too bad. First down at 10 for Michigan at the 26. Jamie lost his balance that time, wanted to cut it back outside if he could, and just like the legs were buckling on him that time. Defensive unit, the Michigan bench, that's Mallory, the linebacker, number 42. Don't think he's not ready to go back in. Wow. He's ready to go right now.
Yeah, either that or he's trying to keep warm.
No gain on that last carry by Morris. It'll be second at 10. White in there at fullback in front of Jamie, number 22. Long count by Harbaugh.
Could be changing the play.
Fakes the handoff. Trying to find somebody. Oh, intercepted. Intended for Caddis. Fumble. Michigan has it back. Turn of events that time. Harbaugh comes up with the ball after Jordan had made the interception and then lost it on a fumble right in front of his bench.
What happens here, Jim Harbaugh just waits too long to throw this ball out to the flat. The one thing you can never do in throwing a pass wide is wait long. He waited too long. Tim Jordan, number 95 there, who's got great speed, intercepted the ball, and then White, Gerald White, number 22 there, puts a nice tackle on Jordan. He loses the ball back to Michigan. That's got to hurt.
So Harbaugh at the bottom of that pile says, I'll take the ball. I started with it. And Michigan goes to Morris. Jamie carries, loses his shoe at around the 47-yard line. Gains a few yards and gets the shoe back on. Brought down by Johnston.
Let's take another look at the very end of this interception. You'll see White right there putting his helmet on the football. You see the ball laying right there on the ground as Jim Harbaugh comes over and picks it up. We were talking about the interception, Ray. The one thing, when you throw those out patterns, you cannot throw them late. It's the worst thing you can do because the underneath coverage is going to come underneath every time and pick it off, and that's what happened to Harbaugh on the pass interception.
Time the factor on that one. Second at 7. Meltzer on his first carry of the afternoon. He busted it through with a first down. Driven out of bounds at Wisconsin's 40 39-yard line, 14 yards on the carry, brought down by Sidnor and Johnston. But Wilcher got through to the line of scrimmage in a hurry.
Big hole. Big hole off tackle by Vitale, 67. Creates the hole. Wilcher, Tom Wilcher, out of Central High School in Detroit, comes up with a big first down for Michigan on his first carry.
Tom coming in this ball game averaging 4.7 per carry. And that was his first carry of the afternoon. Stays in at the tailback position. Gerald White, his fullback, in front of him. Handoff to White. And White down to the 35-yard line of Wisconsin. Russ Fields in there, the linebacker. And at the bottom of the pile for Wisconsin, Craig Raditz, interior linebacker.
Ray, I think there's another lineman, Michigan offensive lineman down, as you see there on your screen.
White, 3 carries now for a total of 12 yards. And the officials indicating timeout with 5 minutes and 51 seconds to go. And while we have a timeout and they work on Clay Miller, let's listen and watch this message. 6 our score here at Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, Michigan. 5 minutes and 51 seconds to go in the third quarter. And while Clay Miller was shaken up in the play, Harbaugh had time to go over and check with his coach, Bo Schembechler, to see what he wants on this series of plays coming up. Harbaugh and the Wolverines offensive unit faced with a 2nd and 5 right now, and a story on Jamie Morris, as you saw, of what he's done in this ball game. Not too far away from 100 yards in the rushing department. Option play, good hitting down there, and the pitch goes to White. White is driven out of bounds. Rob Johnston, the strong side safety, coming over there. Boy, I'll tell you though, real punishment in that line that time. Some good hitting.
Let's take a look from the low angle here as Jim Harbaugh fakes off tackle, up the middle, comes down the line of scrimmage and options on Rick Graff, number 99, and White turns it upfield for a good gain.
White 4 carries, 23 yards thus far in the ball game. 1st and 10 for the Wolverines at the 22. Wilcher on the carry just gets inside the 20-yard line, hitting off tackle. I said Wilcher, excuse me, Morris, number 23 on the carry. And Russ Fields, a linebacker, at the bottom of the pile. That was the 23rd carry by Jamie for a total now of 95 yards this afternoon.
A lot of work.
Got 3 on the carry. Last year, Jamie, you remember, had a 100-yard game against the Badgers of Wisconsin in a Michigan victory, although Emory got a lot of the ink because he had 185 in a losing cause for the Badgers. White, the fullback, taking it, trying to get to the 15, pulled up short there, and a flag goes down. Greg Raditz, the linebacker for the Badgers, making the hit on White. And you can see a little excitement along the bench. They say, what are you calling the penalty on us for?
That's Elliot Uzelak, the offensive coordinator, if there is such a position.
You saw quickly in your screen number 79 for Michigan. Face mask called against Wisconsin.
You'll see right here, I think the face mask is right there on Spencer against Jokic, right there. Good job by our cameraman.
Caught that one. Started to tell you, 79, Clay Miller was back on the field. So Miller, a little while ago, was shaken up on a play, is back in there. And playing at that strong side tackle, number 79. John Elliott, you saw, number 72, coming to the sideline for a moment to check on maybe a blocking assignment or making an adjustment, again, a way the defense is setting up in front of them or to the side of them. Michigan faced now with a first down after the face mask penalty against the Badgers. Ball is placed at the 11-yard line, 1st and 10. White and Morris, the running backs for the Wolverines. Harbaugh, the quarterback.
We've seen that roll pass a lot down here.
White trying to slant to his right, just about to the 10-yard line. Might have got a yard out of the carry, and again, Raditz in there, the leading tackler in that Wisconsin defense, making the stop. At the 10-yard line, 2nd and 9 for the Wolverines, and White getting busy here in the second half and in the late stages of this third quarter, now with 6 carries for a total of 27 yards. Stays in at fullback. He's number 22. Morris is number 23, the tailback. In behind Harbaugh in that I formation. Fake the pitch to Morris. Harbaugh looking for somebody and drills it into the ground. Caddis pretty well covered on the play by Johnston, the safety man. And wisely, and try to throw it into some traffic over there, Harbaugh just put it into the ground. Incomplete pass, 3rd and 9.
Once again, great linebacker coverage. Rick Graff, number 99. You'll see here, he's got good speed. Harbaugh's got to beat him, and he had him inside, but Graff has just got great speed. He comes back and catches back up to Harbaugh. The real tough thing was, Ray, that Harbaugh had to go to his left that particular time. So in order for him to be able to throw the ball downfield, he's got to square those shoulders around, and he just had too much pressure on him, and he couldn't do it.
3rd and 9, still at the 10-yard line. There's the draw. 5, gonna get outside, trying to find daylight. It'll go down at about the 3-yard line. You can see from up here, he wanted to cut it back in. He wanted to cut it back in.
But what a nice call. Quarterback draw. Take 2 steps back, let the defense open up, and then you cut right up inside. And Jim Harbaugh runs it as well as anybody that I've seen. The one problem on this particular play, he couldn't beat that last man to get into the end zone.
Odom's,
I know he's upset at himself. Right here, if he could just put a move on Odom's 38, give him a dip and cut inside and try to beat him. But instead, he just basically ran right into him and didn't get into the end zone.
Ball rests at the 3-yard line. It'll be 4th and 2, and Harbaugh and Michigan have called for a timeout. With a 4th and 2, we'll wait and see what Bo wants to do, whether he wants to go for the field goal, or whether he wants to go for the first down or maybe a touchdown.
Now, this is the situation where he likes to call a timeout, where he can sit down and think about what he wants to do on this particular play. And I think he's decided to kick the field goal.
Mark it at the 11-yard line. That's where they'll spot it. That'll be Monty Robbins setting the ball down for Mike Gillette, number 19, Gillette. So this will be a 21-yard effort by Gillette.
I think it's the right decision, Ray, because if Michigan is stopped here, this game is not out of reach by no means.
A little adjustment.
So you got to take the points.
Between kicker and holder. Almost blocked, and they don't get it. Somebody got a hand on it, and it's also a little bit wide. So Robbins misses the field goal, and Michigan will walk away with still a 17-6 lead, taking some time off the clock, but not getting on the board at 2:56 still remaining in the third quarter. So I guess you could say the Badgers at times sort of take a deep breath and got out from any damage being done.
And I'm sure all the fans are speculating and saying, well, they should have gone for it on 4th down, but technically that was the right decision. Regardless if they make it or not, you've got to, choose to do the right things at the right time, and that was the right thing, going for the field goal.
So the Wolverines, with a couple of drives covering 7 minutes and 4 seconds here in the second half, had a couple of good drives going, fumbles, and missed field goal, and not much being done as far as the scoreboard is concerned, but still leading 17-6. Hammerstein and Mallory in on that stop. Only a yard on the carry. 2nd and 9. Ohio State, my friends, have come back into that ball game. Tie game right now?
Yeah.
Against Illinois, 14-14.
But the score I got was 17-0. So that's what I don't understand. I heard 17, but we'll have to check on it.
Second and 9. Intercepted by Rivers. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Garland Rivers. With 2 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the third quarter, Garland Rivers picks off a Mike Howard pass and takes it in for a touchdown after the interception.
You'll see here, Mike Howard does not do a very good job of throwing this football. He throws it over and behind his receiver. It's over his head and behind him. It was intended for his tight end, Scott Sharon, number 89. Garland Rivers, who has been playing outstanding football for the Michigan defense, comes up with an interception and touchdown.
Extra point misses by Gillette. And so Michigan, thanks to the interception by Rivers and a failed conversion, leading now 23-6 with 2:08 to go in the third quarter. Mike Hammerstein doing some blocking after the interception for the Wolverines to help Garland Rivers.
Here's another look at the interception and touchdown. Mike Howard once again threw it was a poorly thrown ball. Rivers alertly makes the interception. Great cut right there. Runs into his own man, Mallory. Keeps his balance, and then it was clear sailing to the end zone. But Rivers, the junior out of Canton, Ohio, is really putting pressure on his teammate, Brad Cochran, who is the other outstanding cornerback and is a preseason All-American. The way Rivers is playing, who knows, he might end up being the All-American and Cochran on second team or something.
Rivers coming through with the interception, picked it off right around roughly the 27-yard line and got it back. You know, you're talking about a poor pass that time. We were watching 66 Hammerstein in there, and really did apply quite a bit of pressure on the quarterback, but still sort of just threw it up without any mustard on it at all.
And Ray, that's the team concept where, you know, you get good offensive pressure on the quarterback, and you'll cause him a lot of times to throw a bad pass or throw a pass somewhere where he doesn't want to, and it ends up in an interception and a touchdown.
There's a spread mobile. Swarmed under. Right around the 15-yard line. Great coverage by the kicking team of Michigan on that kickoff. And Schulte, who had a great day last week against Maryland, in on that stop along with Bostic. That's the third time this afternoon that Bostic has been down there.
You'll see the kickoff return here. Fred Bobo, number 85, looking for some help. Next thing you know, there's 8 blue shirts there. I used to hate running back kickoffs. I did it one year with the Lions, and a very scary feeling, especially when you're not getting a whole lot of offensive blocking.
Guys used to say they had different names for those teams, but I could always remember the Suicide Squad.
That's right.
I hate to say it, but putting it roughly, it's like open for gutting, isn't that what they call it?
That's right.
Really is a real tough chore, let alone to be the ball carrier. Even some of the guys that had to handle some of the blocking and get back.
You know, the only worse thing than trying to return a kickoff for me was going down on the kickoff team trying to bust up the wedge.
Yeah.
And they had me doing that one year, and I couldn't believe it.
Say, I'm a former quarterback. What are you
I never
doing?
tackled anybody in my life at 185 pounds, and I got to go down and go against some crazy linebacker who's about 250 pounds, 240 pounds. I was scared to death, to say the least.
Well, they'll try it again. Bobo, number 85, and Bobby Taylor, number 44. They'll kick it off again. Sekowitz back at his 35-yard line now to kick it off for Michigan. Knuckleball, line drive variety. Taken by Bobo. Gets to the 23. And a couple of Michigan defenders down there in a hurry and doing a good job and bringing him down in a hurry. Cowan, second time he's been down under the kickoff today and in on a tackle.
you're going to see quite a hit here as Bobo picks up the ball, and watch out.
First and 10. Badgers at their own 23. A minute and 58 seconds to go. Bullington in motion now, moving out to his right. The pitch going to Emery. Gets to around the 26-yard line.
Well, if Wisconsin really wants to get back into this football game, Ray, I cannot see them using off-tackle running plays on first down. It just doesn't make any sense.
Akers in on the tackle. Emery's 8th carry for a total now of 13 yards. He got 4 yards. No, down 17 points with a minute and a half to go in the third quarter. Something's got to bust open because really the Badgers playing catch-up now. Howard over the middle, complete. And maybe not quite enough for the first down. He went to Emery on the reception, and Akers went to Emery on the tackle. Keep in mind, Howard with a bad shoulder coming back after being hurt in the first game of the year against Northern Illinois, and he looks a little slow coming back to the huddle this time.
Yes, he does. A lot of pressure on him that time. He held the ball a long time before he released it to Emery, his running back. You'll see here, he fakes off tackle, goes back, a lot of pressure, wipes Hammerstein and somebody else. I didn't see the other number, but he paid for that pass.
3rd and 1. Got the first down. Emery on the carry. Look out. He can bust it open, trying to get around, and finally Cochran making the touchdown-saving tackle that time around the 31-yard line of Michigan. So Emery showing what he showed here a year ago against the Wolverines.
Well, I'll tell you something. Brad Cochran made an All-American play on that particular play. If we get a chance to look at it, Emery breaks off tackle. It was a short yardage situation. So the defensive line was up in the interior, and once he broke the line of scrimmage, he was immediately in the secondary. But you see there was an offensive man in front of Emery, number 6, and Cochran. And that was it between himself and the goal line, and he came up with the tackle to save the touchdown.
Well, you're talking about number 6 was Tompkins, who had just come in there as a wide receiver, so he was trying to handle a blocking on that 1st and 10 call that time by Wisconsin. That was the first call by Bonner, their fullback that time, in the place of Armington. And the pesky Badger trying to get his fans and his team going here. And doing a pretty good job for his audition here in front of our television cameras on pass.
Looks like he's got the wrong sport.
Gain of a yard. And that'll be the end of the third quarter before they can get the play off. So after 3 quarters of play, University of Michigan Wolverines 23, Wisconsin 6. And Wisconsin on a bit of a roll right now as they move down to the Wolverine 31-yard line when we start our 4th quarter. The Badgers will be faced with 2nd down and 9. That last carry by Emery gets him 50-plus yards and his best run of the afternoon. Okay, we'll be right back with the final 15 minutes of this ball game, but first, this brief timeout. Warrior here on pass. Michigan leading 23-6. 2nd and 9 for the Badgers at the Michigan 31-yard line. Fullington in motion for the Badgers, number 20. And Howard's pass intended for Emery, overthrown, and some good coverage by Moeller that time. The linebacker staying right back with the tailback. So incomplete. Howard 13 for 18 in the air for a total of 103 yards, but he has also had 3 passes picked off as Michigan has intercepted. The last one by Rivers, an interception, and he galloped 27 yards for the last score by the Wolverines. 3rd and 9 for Wisconsin. Akers on the chase. Howard wants help. And Cochran comes through with the interception. Cochran comes through with the interception to pick off the 4th pass of the afternoon. So we were talking about records. You can talk about Cochran's now because that moves him into a tie for third-time All-American enlist as he trailed Rick Bolton, Tom Darden, and Tom Curtis in interception.
Ray, this interception was really the fault of Fullington, number 20, because he did not come back to the ball, and Cochran did. His angle to the ball allowed him to jump in front of Tim Fullington that time and make the interception. Cochran, the preseason All-American, local guy out of Royal Oak, Brother Rice. Great All-American, 6'3", 210 pounds. Good speed.
12th interception by the Wolverine Ball Club. The defensive unit this season. Tom Wiltshire gets outside a grab. The linebacker has enough for the first down as Wiltshire on the run that time, and Johnston in there to make the tackle along with Sidnor.
Wiltshire, I'll get it out sooner or later. He's got great speed, Ray.
He really has. The track man for the University of Michigan. Only his second carry this afternoon, but he's averaging 15 yards a carry. He's got a total of 30 yards and 2 carries. The story of the turnovers. The Badgers have coughed it up 5 times, 4 by the way of interceptions. Perriman on a carry that time across the 40-yard line. Got up to around the 41, possibly the 42. Matter of the clock now for Michigan with 14:09 to go and leading 23-6. You can just say, let's keep control, we take charge, and burn out the clock.
Yep, let's just, we may want to work on some plays, but ideally they want to continue to mix it up, but don't do anything stupid, so to speak.
Or maybe even try to get too fancy, right?
Right.
Perriman, number 37. Wiltshire, the tailback, number 27. Wiltshire on the carry, couldn't find the hole, and a good stop that time as Boykins was in there along with Raditz. Wiltshire showing great speed getting to the line of scrimmage that time. There was no hole. You could see he wanted to try to get outside, move to his left, no place to go.
Too much penetration by the Wisconsin defense.
3rd and 7. Eric Campbell, wide receiver, number 5 on the left side. Jokic wide on the right side. A lot of time. Nothing goes. Campbell covered pretty well that time by Spencer, the cornerback, and Raditz giving chase that time, applying the pressure to Harbaugh.
Good, smart play by Jim Harbaugh. See, that situation, he could see that his receivers were covered. Instead of trying to force the ball and holding on to it and possibly losing yardage, he threw the ball away. That was the right thing to do.
Monty Robbins checking in. 4th and 7. Line of scrimmage at the 41. Robbins coming in this ball game this afternoon, averaging just about 36.5 yards. Today, his average is down to 27. But that short punt of 11 yards in the opening quarter really has hurt his average. Taken at the 22. And bringing it back, Joe Armentrout did not get it up to his 30, got it around the 28-yard line. So Armentrout on the return, and Caddis in there to make the tackle.
Nice move by Armentrout, number 23. Right here, I thought was a very nice move. Pick up 5 or 6 yards for a first down. Well, first down anyway, but pretty good field position for Wisconsin.
At the 28, 1st and 10. And Wisconsin really going to have to do something with 12:41 and trailing 23-6. Got to get their offense clicking if they can. Wolverines defensive unit thinking otherwise. Draw play, not going anywhere. Armentrout on the carry. Mesner doing a good job to penetrate that time. The linebackers, Mallory moving up, and Harris is right in the middle. Armentrout, 9 carries, 43 yards. Again, another conservative call, I thought, on a 1st and 10. And trying to play catch-up.
Yeah, you're right, Ray. They called a draw play, and the draw play really wasn't set up.
2nd and 8 at the 30 of the Badgers. Bonner in there at fullback now for Wisconsin, number 31. Look out. Messner missed us from the first time, came back and said, how'd they do on a second effort?
Perfect example. We talked about Harbaugh in the same situation. Instead of Howard getting rid of the ball, he's trying to do too much, Ray. He's trying to force the ball here. You just got to, accept the fact that your receiver, if you're going to try to throw the ball and you have to pump, that means your receiver's covered. So either get rid of the ball or go to another receiver. And instead, he's running around back there trying to hold on to the ball, and he loses yardage.
Third time he's been sacked this afternoon for a total of 38 yards, plus the 5 turnovers by Wisconsin. Self-destruct this afternoon. 11:20 to go. Look out. Knee went down on the ground. That'll be whistled dead right around the 15-yard line.
It's college rules.
Yep.
In pro football, he could have continued on, but can't do it here in college.
So the Badgers faced 4th and 22. Really got nothing going on that series of downs.
Nothing at all. Right here, you'll see the knee goes down, and he's down. It doesn't take anybody to touch him or anything. The college rule states if that knee goes down, you are down.
Pressure applied. Colzar is there, and he takes it at the 50-yard line. A step into Badger territory. And so the freshman with great speed is really getting quite a bit of exposure in the last 2 ball games, number 40.
Yeah, they expect great things from him. I understand he's the fastest freshman on the team. 4.4 speed to the 40.
Badger cheerleaders haven't had much to cheer about, but they seem to be happy. 23-6, Michigan leading at the 49 of Wisconsin. Wilcher. No hole there. I'll create something.
Nice run, Will. Really running hard off tackle. Tom Wilcher. I don't know why I'm having problems with that name. Off tackle right. Nice block up in front by 22, Gerald White. But really, there was no hole there.
Sidnor gets credit for the tackle for Wisconsin. And he might have got a little bit of his face in the helmet with the shoe. 2nd and 5. Harbaugh. Little flicker out there to White. Had the juggling act going on, and White then was creamed by Johnson, incomplete. You don't get it the first time. Look out, you're going to hear footsteps sooner or later.
That's right. Looks like he just couldn't hold on. Brick hands almost. Ball hit him right in the hands. Gerald White.
Now, did you ever say that to one of your receivers when they came back in the huddle and they did a little thing and say, hey, brick hands?
No.
But you just give them the eye contact, right?
Yeah, you sort of either stare at him, give him a dirty look, or stare away from him and not say anything at all.
And never call the play again for him,
They could tell.
3rd and 5, I'll bet. And they knew it coming back to the huddle. 3rd and 5 for Michigan. Harbaugh wanted to go deep. Got Jokic down there, overthrows him at the 10-yard line. 2-on-1 coverage, and a flag goes down. Johnston was down there along with Spencer, and one of the two may be called for interference.
Yeah, I think they're going to call it on Jokic. I think he pushed off. You could see at the very end he had his hand against the receiver. I think they're going to call it against Michigan.
Dennis Franklin, you saw it perfectly. Nice going, kid. Making a comeback from a wicket. No, I'm just kidding you. So they'll be declining it, and that'll turn the down box over. Now, wait a minute. Now they are marking it back to the 40-yard line of Michigan. Fourth down, turn over the box anyway, and they march to penalty, and it'll be 4th and 21 back at the Michigan 40. Monty Robbins back around his 26-yard line. Out of Michigan bounce, and Odoms Gets some running room. Penalty flag down. Odom's brought down to the 25. Fumble is recovered by Michigan, but there's a flag back at the 17-yard line. 51-yard punt that time by Monty Robbins.
3 mistakes made by the Wisconsin special teams. Number 1, Nate Odoms didn't catch the ball while it was in the air. He allowed this ball to bounce. That was mistake number 1. Number 2, there was a clip after he picks up the ball here and runs it back. There's a clip. And number 3, and most important, he fumbles the ball and loses it to Michigan.
Well, Michigan gets a break. As you talk about it, Garland Rivers there to recover the fumble. You take another look at it now. It's still bouncing around where it should have had it out of the air.
Yeah,
right?
he definitely should have came up and caught the ball in the air, Ray. And then there's a clip here. I couldn't see the number. And then thirdly, the fumble, which is probably the most important thing you don't want to do.
And it was a clipping penalty against Wisconsin. Michigan, of course, declines it. And Michigan has the ball at the 28-yard line, 27-yard line of Wisconsin, 1st and 10. And Rivers with that recovery. Wiltshire on the option. Gets about 5 yards out of that effort. That takes a little time off the clock at 9:26 remaining. Driven out of bounds by Troy Spencer. 5 carries by Tommy now for a total of 39 yards.
It's good play on 1st down. Option football. Haven't seen a lot of it today.
23-6, Michigan leading.
Another fine day for Jim Harbaugh. 12 completions out of 19 attempts, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the 1 mistake, the interception. But it didn't really hurt.
So White, option play is not going to go too much. Graham, outside linebacker. Harbaugh and White looked as if they were in a dash, a race, because they were right next to one another.
Well, Wisconsin did a real fine job of stringing this play out. That's what really caused the timing problem. You'll see here, watch the linebackers and people from Wisconsin just move down the line of scrimmage, and basically that was a pass, but Harbaugh basically said, here, you take it. I don't want it at the very last minute.
And knocked down was White. Ball at the 25-yard line. 3rd and 8. Jokic coming across inside the 20-yard line on the reception, and will be shy maybe of a 1st down. See where they mark it. It's going to be very close. We make it a measurement. Some of the paying officials saying, hey, no 1st down. Jeff Wagner, free safety, driving Jokic out of bounds that time.
Now, on this situation, it's a lot different from the one we talked about before, where Bo, we said it was the right thing to do in terms of trying the field goal. They ended up missing the field goal. Well, here, with the additional touchdown, the interception by Rivers, it doesn't really matter. They can take a chance and go for it on 4th down, because there really isn't enough time left in the ball game for Wisconsin to come back, should they happen to not make the 1st down.
Shy of the 1st down by about a foot. 8:23 to go in this ball game. Michigan leading 23-6. So you can say everything's going blue and May's way right now.
Very good.
And I want to see if the former quarterback is right now and saying, well, go on for the 1st down here. See what the coach says. Yeah, he's going to go along with you. All right. The turnover story is a death threat, really, for the Badgers this afternoon. 4 of those 6 interceptions. The other 2 fumbles. So Michigan needs a short yard, a foot, really, for the 1st down.
And I think he's going to throw the ball here.
Okay, here we go. We'll find out. At the 17-yard line.
I don't believe I said that.
4th and 1.
Oh, well.
Wrong. Harbaugh on a carry. You got too much exposure to the pros, didn't you? 1st down, Michigan. Oh, Campbell and Brown check out. Kolsar and Jokic back in. in the receiver department for Michigan. Down to 8 minutes remaining in the ball game. Michigan leading 23-6. Caddis, the tight end, number 81, moving over to the left side.
Reverse.
Kozar close to the first down. Odoms drives him out of bounds, and Kozar was just hoping that number 72, John Elliott, could get one or two of those defenders there. He was waiting to see which way they committed themselves.
You're right, Ray. He was trying to set up the block by Elliott, but you see here, number 40 coming back on the reverse. John Kozar, 6 feet, 190-pound freshman out of Westlake, Ohio, tries to wait on Elliott there, decides that he couldn't get back inside, cuts it outside, and what a nice play. First down, Michigan.
First and goal for the Wolverines at the Wisconsin 5-yard line, just outside the 5-yard line. White and Morris, the running backs. Morris on the carry, goes no place. Craig Raditz, the linebacker, smelling that play and coming up to greet him right at the line of scrimmage. Second and goal. Brown, the tight end, checking in. Campbell, the wide receiver, checks out. So double tight end for Michigan with Caddis, number 81, Brown, number 80. Wilcher in the place of Morris in the tailback position. Caddis, touchdown! Harbaugh pulls the trigger. Caddis on the receiving end. And a flag has gone down. Holding called against Michigan. So check it. A touchdown will not count. Take the 6 points off the scoreboard. And holding called against the Wolverines.
Once again, Ray, this is a fake off tackle and a tight end pop to Caddis. Eric Caddis, number 81, would have had his 4th touchdown of the season, second in this particular ball game. That play was very similar to the one that Caddis scored on the first touchdown this afternoon, where he beat Craig Raditz, the big linebacker from Wisconsin.
And taking a little deep breath, or maybe a big deep breath, Dave McClain, the head coach of the Badgers. So the ball now marched back to the 15-yard line of Wisconsin, 2nd and 15.
Watch for that rollout play to the slot side, where Harbaugh comes out on the rollout and looks for the fullback to go in the slot.
Jokic was in the slot, and now passing to Jokic, coming all the way across. Jokic that time started on the left side, and you mentioned a slot formation. And by the time Harbaugh could release the ball, as he had some pressure, he'd already run the pattern pretty much to the far side of the field.
It really didn't get a lot of yardage. It was a pass completed for probably only 6 or 7 yards on the game.
Jokic with his 4th reception of the afternoon for a total of 49 yards. That's probably his least amount on that last reception that he's got. 3rd down, he got 4 yards out of it. Now at the 11-yard line. Don't forget, it's at the 11. In a 3rd and goal situation. Harbaugh. Let's go. Touchdown. Oh, was he over the line of scrimmage or not? He was not. Officials say touchdown.
He was not over the line of scrimmage, Ray, but you're going to really get a chance to see what I was talking about, where on this particular play, the quarterback only reacts to what the defense does. Now watch Harbaugh here, and watch number 95, Tim Jordan, the linebacker. He waits till the last minute. He's rolling out. The linebacker is going to commit. Now see, he looks like he's going to run. And now you're going to see the linebacker. See him right there at the bottom of the screen? When he came up, Harbaugh just tossed the ball to his fullback, Gerald White, and he was wide open. So Jordan couldn't win. It didn't matter what he did. If he'd have stayed back, he'd have scored on the run.
And Gillette has it up and good this time with 6:40 to go in this ball game. Michigan with a 30-6 lead over Wisconsin. So White on the receiving end that time of an 11-yard pass. And liking the feeling, his second touchdown reception of the afternoon.
Jim Harbaugh's third passing touchdown. For Harbaugh, second, you're right, by White. They look strong, right?
They really do. Next week, little bus trip up to Michigan State. Wisconsin will be at home against the Hawkeyes of Iowa.
That's why we have a tailgate party.
Michigan giving up the 6 points in this ball game early in the second quarter, but they only scoring via the touchdown this year against the Wolverines. I would like nothing better now with 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the game to keep the Badgers off the board if they can. Sutkowitz. All set to kick it off for Michigan. Bobby Taylor and Fred Bobo to handle it. That's not Bobo. Taylor down there along with Steve Vinci. This is Taylor at his 5. And really took a belt at the 25-yard line. Schulte, who's not played a lot at the linebacking post today, but certainly on the special teams has done a good job of getting down there and covering on the play. Bostic was also in that pileup again. He's been in there 4 or 5 times this afternoon. That last scoring drive by the Wolverines, covering almost 3 minutes, taking 9 plays, and the 11-yard pass play for the touchdown to White. Almost is Hicks. Hicks has it. Deflected that time by Schulte. Deflected, and then Hicks there to make the interception. So the 1-2 combination for the Wolverines.
Ray, you just talked about Todd Schulte being in on so many different plays this afternoon, in particular on special teams. But that time he did a very fine job of tipping this football, and it's basically the tip drill. This is a drill where in practice they actually tip balls, work on tip balls, and the second guy catching the ball. And Ivan Hicks does a nice job of coming up with the interception. You'll see here, once again, the ball is tipped. Hicks looks up, makes the interception, and Michigan has the ball in good field position.
At the Wisconsin 34-yard line. Congratulations, Mr. Hicks. Yes, nice job. Wisconsin had the ball for 8 seconds on that play. Wilcher had the afterburners going. A little bit shy of the first down. Almost had it. Got 9 yards on the carry. In the last 4 minutes and 13 seconds, Wisconsin has had the ball for 8 seconds. Raddatz got credit for that tackle on Wilcher. New quarterback in for Michigan, Chris Zerbrugge. So Chris in there for the first time this afternoon. Wilcher breaks the tackle, trying to get outside, inside the 20, down to the 18-yard line. Odoms, the cornerback, in there, along with Johnston on the tackle on Wilcher.
Tom Wilcher, number 27. I don't think I've ever seen him run that hard, Ray. He's really pumped.
Well, he got a little publicity earlier this week. Might give him a little extra determination to prove something. 7 carries for Tommy and 56 yards out of those 7 carries. Zerbrugge in his second ball game of the season, taking over for Harbaugh. Gives it to Perriman, the fullback. A yard or 2 on that carry by Bob Perriman. Chris, of course, a sophomore from Alliance, Ohio, wears uniform number 12. So Borowski, number 68, coming back into there. Borowski and Vitale have done a good job with that offensive line
Yes,
today.
they have.
A week ago, they were reserves, and due to injuries, getting the starting call and seeing a lot of playing time. 2nd and 9. Wilcher, head down, flag goes down, but Wilcher got 2 or 3 extra yards after he put the head down. Reckless abandon straight ahead after he made the cut.
Running very hard. I've just given up the body on that particular play. And the power sweep. Trying to pick up the first down.
Van der Zande in there to make the tackle. Freshman.
Holding on the offense, Ray.
So the 10th penalty against the Wolverines coming up. If they march it off, it'll be a total for 90 yards this afternoon. Guess you can say in this ball game or a ball game like this, you can get away with it. If you get in a couple of tough ball games, these could be costly for you.
That's very true. And I can tell you from experience that regardless, the second team is in there for one reason. That's to get experience and to score another touchdown. Because they're going to be judged the same way as the first stringers. And they're expected to execute correctly on every down, just as if they were on the first team.
Wilcher breaks 1-2 tackles and finally gets it to the 15-yard line. He was wrapped up by Wagner, the free safety. Time remaining in this ball game. Taken away. Michigan leading 30-6. Total plays in this ball game up to this point right now. Michigan with 75 plays. Wisconsin with 43. And they've only had really one in the last 5 minutes, the Badgers. And that lasted for only 8 seconds. Perriman and Wilcher, the running backs. Zurbrugg fakes the handoff, goes over the middle, almost to Wilcher. Wagner covering on the play, and he almost had an interception. A little bit behind him.
I thought he had his wide receiver open, Zurbrugg, but he gave up on him for some reason. He fakes off tackle here to Wilcher and looks at the top of the screen. You see there, then he, at the last second, decided to change his mind, and the ball was tipped there by number 53, Craig Raditz.
33-yard effort on a field goal attempt now by Gillette. Plenty of distance. It is there. Good. 33 yards away. The field goal by Mike Gillette. And the Wolverines increase their lead now to 33-6 with 3:41 remaining in the ball game. And the way Wisconsin has been playing here in the fourth quarter, Wolverines may have a shot at some more points yet.
That's very true, Ray. They don't seem to be able to get anything going on offense once they get the ball. You know, like you said, the last time they had it, what, 8 seconds?
8 seconds.
And that was it.
I actually thought we'd see a little bit more from the offensive unit of Wisconsin this afternoon than what we've seen. Not taking anything away from them, but Michigan's defense, of course, has had something to do with that.
That's very true. I'm sure Dave McClain, the head coach of Wisconsin, has got to be very disappointed in his offensive performance this afternoon, and is going to do something if he wants to contend in the Big Ten race this year. He's going to have to do something and get that offense going.
Now, you're talking about being disappointed in his offensive efforts this afternoon. And Jim Schneider, our statistician, reminds us now that Wisconsin, in the last 7 minutes of play, has had the ball in their possession for 8 seconds. And you cannot catch up or do anything in that amount of time unless you throw a bomb.
That's true.
And that hasn't happened.
And a bomb would take longer than 8
right.
seconds.
That's Taylor taking the kickoff. And it's just sort of stand up and punch him out time. The reserves, the backup men, they are not letting up. Thiebert, for the second time this afternoon, has come in there. Well, the 33-yard field goal by Gillette capped off that 6-play scoring drive. And again, almost 3 minutes taken by the Wolverines to get those 3 points and take it off the clock. New quarterback in now for the University of Wisconsin. This is Bud Keys, number 12, and he's the fellow that started the last 2 ball games, was very successful against Nevada, Las Vegas, and also Wyoming. We talked about Keys. That was deflected on the pass. Talked about Keys in our opening on our highlight package of a young man that really carried this ball club, at least helped to carry the ball club, in the absence of the starting quarterback Mike Howard, who was injured in the first ball game. So Keys coming in the second quarter of their opener against Northern Illinois, and you saw his stats through the game last week out in Wyoming. The young man, just a sophomore from Green Bay, Wisconsin. 2nd and 10. Over the middle and completed. Bobo and Schulte in there on the tackle. So after Bobo makes the reception, he'll head to the sidelines. Well, they'll have some victory tunes going following this ball game. The fine members of the University of Michigan band. 8 yards on that reception. 3rd and 2. 2:55 remaining in the game. Emery on a carry, Schulte on a stop. So Todd from Villa Hills, Kentucky, just outside Covington across the river at Cincinnati, having himself quite an afternoon.
And once again, Ray, they come up short. And I think now they're going to choose to go for it on 4th down.
Larry Emery's this afternoon, a lot of difference, 130 yards less than a year ago.
Yeah, and had it not been for that one long gain, he would have probably, you know, I guess he got about 40 yards on that one carry. Other than that, he really has been invisible.
Emery has the first down. Moving out of bounds, Dave Arnold and Rick Hassel for Michigan. And the Badgers with the first down will be 1st and 10 at their own 42-yard line, and 2 minutes and 1 second remaining in the ball game. And Michigan commanding with a 33-6 lead. Michigan led at the halftime 17-6, and Bo Schembechler ready to chalk up his first Big Ten win of the 1985 season, but his 150th while being around these parts in Ann Arbor. Keys, a lot of time, going deep, intercepted. Now that they say he lost control of it. Couldn't hang on to it.
That's the second 23.
Singles?
Zingos.
Zingal.
I thought I was losing my vision there for a minute. I saw another 23. I thought it was Jamie Morris, right?
That's right. Zingals. Yeah, I did the same thing. I thought, no, wait a minute. He's got two-way man out here?
Right.
No. Young man by the name of Zingal. Zingalis. We got it right. And we'll hear more from that young man, hopefully, during his career at the University of Michigan. Complete for short yardage that time. For the Badgers, got 3. Third down and 10. Back at the 42-yard line of the Badgers. Wolverines done a pretty good job of marching that ball for first downs. Another department they have dominated this afternoon over the Badgers. 3rd and 10. Armentrout on the receiving end. Going to be shy of a first down. Todd Schulte in there at the bottom of the Michigan pile on the stop. McIntyre along with him. And 1 minute and 24 seconds.
That screenplay didn't work very well. Bud Keys, the quarterback, Ray, did not let the defensive line come in enough. He's got to let the Michigan lineman penetrate enough in order that when he throws the ball to his running back on the screenplay, he gets a chance to pick up better yardage.
My guys say I wasn't cold. My team's winning. 4th and 7. Good point. Really good point on that. 4th and 7. Keys trying to get him going. And that was Trapsville. Incomplete. Michigan will take over with 50 seconds remaining at the Wisconsin 45-yard line. Dave Arnold over there to cover on that play. So a nice hand from the young men that was on defense that time for Michigan.
And that was the second team, defensive team for Michigan. The entire unit was the second team defensive unit.
Well, their team may not be leading or winning this ball game, but they have to do something to stay warm, right? With an outfit like that, you
I
got
suppose.
to, huh?
Come out here dressed that way.
Let everybody get inside before it's dark. Pitch going to Wilcher. First and 10. Wilcher getting about 4 yards on the carry. So it's history as Michigan's just about all set to wrap this one up. Chad Van Zandt in there. And Michigan in this series ready to walk into the locker room with their 36th victory over the University of Wisconsin. Clock ticking away. Jonathan Grossman again has been our spotter, and thank you, Jonathan. Jim Snyder, our always faithful statistician. Jimmy sending his best back to the folks along the East Coast. 11 seconds remaining. Christian Studebaker has been our leader up here and our floor director. Christian, nice working with you, and thank you very much. And it's been quite an afternoon for the University of Michigan Wolverines. Dave McClain saying, Bo, congratulations, your team's still looking great, as the Wolverines win final score 33-6 over the University of Wisconsin. And Michigan now going 4-0 on the season, and in the Big Ten opening up with a very impressive 33-6 win over Wisconsin. We'll be right back, but first, this message.